Exactly. Well, here we are. Welcome everybody. How are you doing on this Saturday? Whether it be morning, noon, or night, I don't care. I'm glad that you're here, and we are here at Jedi Granville Productions. I am Jedi Granville, rocking the Jedi, well, not the Jedi, but the Jet Jaguar shirt. And we're doing a special podcast where it's called the Takasasu Corner, where we're going to be talking about each of the people who are here, our top 10 favorite minus Godzilla Kaiju. And with me here is Yulvin. I'm saying that right? Oven.
Oven.
Oven. Get it right. Oven.
All good.
Sorry, thank you. Oven. And then my good brother here, Mr. Kevin Lambert of the Entertainment Headquarters. Yes, sir. And below me is the professor, Mr. Daniel Miller.
Good evening.
Yes. And of course, we have the big bad wolf himself, John, always in the house all the time, How you doing, folks?
First off, I have to say, wonderful intro.
Oh,
I was actually impressed.
Well, look, I can't take all the credit. That is by our good friend, Mr. Kevin Lambert. He is a genius. Give him 2 points for that, or 3 points.
Hey.
The music is a vibe. I will say that.
I like that music choice.
It's
At the
fitting
end of the day, I might have helped, but I have the inspiration because he gave me his input. I made his image. So at the end of the day, it is all Jedi Granville.
Well,
the music you chose definitely suits who you are, Jedi.
Yes, well, I like it smooth on the R&B tip, so that's what
it's a vibe.
Yes, and in the comments section,
Mr. Sexual Chocolate.
I was gonna say sexual chocolate for sure. And in the comments, we got Mr. Jake Hall. What's up there, Jake? How you feeling? And I guess he said something else here, and there we go. But I'll show that to Hogan and yeah. So why are we here today? We are here because what we're doing today is basically this. And I have to say, a friend of ours, he's not here, unfortunately, gave me the inspiration to do a list of what are the top favorite kaijus. And the thing about it is, it was on account of we were celebrating the 70th anniversary of Anguirus. It turned 70, just like Godzilla. And the funny thing is, I had posted saying, he's turning 70. He's been through a lot, he's the underdog of the kaiju world. And he just happened to mention something about his top, when I say top list, what's on his kaiju list of favorites. And Anguirus was one of them. And it got me, my motors was running. I was spinning doctoring some stuff. I was like, wouldn't it be great if we just did a list of what's the top, list of what's up, Anubis? How you feeling?
Anubis.
Yes,
Anubis.
And speaking of Anubis, I'll be sharing that video that he shared with me with you guys. But but along the way, I got more inspiration from Mr. said Kevin Lambert. What he asked was like, well, will Godzilla be on this list? I got to thinking, that's a good point. Why should Godzilla be on this list? Because the simple fact is, we automatically know Godzilla is going to be at the top of most kaijus. So I said, why not take him out the equation and make others be what we are? So I can safely say Sci-Fi Century and Kevin Lambert are the inspirations to this list.
Anubis has got his tits out. Look at the
And
top.
and hey, well, hopefully if your tits are out, Anubis, just enjoy that people are watching them. That's all that matters.
Metal Tavern's having its own beach episode at last.
Here we go. I just made a comment to Anubis.
There we go. Oh my God! But no, this is good. But no, getting back to the list is the fact that I could have gone 20 with this, but I'm like, you know what? Let's focus on the top 10 because I feel like the top 10 is more robust and more intimate with the people who chooses these particular kaiju or anything we pick in terms of lists. We can take something from Star Wars, pick something from Star Trek. It doesn't matter. The fact is, what is your favorite whatever creature design? It boils down to what personally is your favorite. So with that being said, we're going to go through starting from number 10 to 1. And to answer a question earlier by Oven, yes, we're going to kind of say why is this on the list as far as where it's on the list of like 10 or 5 or whatever. So starting with you, Oven, thank you. Sorry. Starting with you, Oven, thank you. What's your number 10 of favorite kaiju?
I decided to go with a design that uses Godzilla in Jiris from Ultraman because I think that design looks cool, and I mean I feel like what Sabraya was trying to do with that character was probably trying to do a knockoff of Godzilla in Ultraman. But hey, that's just my theory. I've never seen that episode, but I've seen that monster before. But that's just my take on it,
And he is one of the most famous of the kaijus on Ultraman, but he is a favorite among, the kaijus fan anyway, though. But yeah, that's a good list. That's a good number to start with. Mr. Kevin Lambert, and before you start, let me share something that he gave me that shows what's on his list. But we don't know the order of the list. So, Kevin, can you elaborate which one is your number 10?
So, with going with number 10, I am going to go with, you need to correct me on the name. It is the Gamera Nemesis. Is it Gurion?
Guiron.
He's my number 10 because even though Godzilla has so many amazing antagonists, he's my favorite in the Showa era of his antagonist, of Gamera. I just love the design. I just remember seeing that film very early on and fall in love with the character and how he was like this. For me, even though we have Gigan, for me, because he's like an organic, also kind of cybernetic creature, because yes, he's like an organic creature. He has the blade head. He fires like these stardust, star things out of the side of his head. He's also kind of bionic. So for me, he was like Gamera's version of Gigan. And like the Gamera kind of Gigan foe. And I just love the idea of the character, and I love the idea of how he worked and everything of that nature. And of course, he came back with a bang in Gamera, the animated series that recently happened.
Yes.
The Rebirth series, and he was amazing in that as well.
Okay.
They definitely did him justice in that.
They did. He was more ferocious in that particular series, I have to say. That's a good point.
They made him terrifying when he opens his mouth to roar because it unhinges like a snake.
Yeah.
Giron's the one with the table knife like looking thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So his entire head's like a blade.
Yes.
It's really cool design. I really I do agree with
Yeah, think of his body as a giant cleaver with legs.
That
Yeah.
basically. All right, Professor. What is your number 10 as far as favorite kaijus?
Okay, number 10, I would have to say, for me, number 10 would have to be probably, no, not probably, definitely the sea louse from the Return of Godzilla, because it's one of the things in a Godzilla movie that you just would not expect in a kaiju movie. But it's an interesting parallel with the trilobite found in Godzilla's footprint in the original 54 film. What I like about this little sea louse creature, or I think it was a sea slater in one of the subtitled releases, I think it was named. What I like about it is how, because it's effectively been on Godzilla's body, it's absorbed the radiation from his body, and as such has become as not so much a parasite, but it's more of an active predator and scavenger, because it's drained all of the life and basically everything from the sailors on board the shipping vessel at the start of the film, which really adds an element of, I guess you could say, body horror to
Suspense
Godzilla.
too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I think was a really welcome addition. And the sea louse itself, it's very simple but also disturbing in its design, and you can see that it's very difficult to kill because it already has part of a harpoon sticking out of the side of its shell.
Right.
But yeah, the way it slivers and leaves this trail of pus or ooze again
Oh,
is
yes.
quite it's disgusting, and it's
Unnerving.
also unnerving, and it adds to the horror element of the creature.
Okay. Well, Big Bad Wolf was your number 10.
I would go with Tyrant from the Ultraman series.
Okay.
Because he's very uniquely looking. It's like a, I always say this a lot, but it's like you ask a 10-year-old to draw a monster. Because you look at Tyrant, he's like, you give him Godzilla's physique, and then you give him like a dragon goblin-like looking face. And then instead of arms, one arm has like a bladed limb, and then the other one's like a mace. And then even a tail has a weapon on the end. And so he's very uniquely designed, and he even gives a bunch of the Ultra Brothers a run for their money.
And see, that's the thing I like about these creatures, which y'all talking about already. These are good examples because, as Big Bad Wolf says, they have such unique designs, and yet they're very, of kind of original. When I say original, they're so out there that they just, get your attention. But let me say what's up to Gojira. What's up there, Gojira?
Hey, Matt.
Hello, Gojira.
Yes. Doing all right, man? Hey, do your thing, brother. But no, that's the thing. And what's going to surprise you with my number 10 is that it's funny how you think certain creatures or certain kaijus or certain monsters, it's absolute in terms of like, oh, I see this creature. It's like, that's going to be on my list. It's like, no, in fact, it's kind of like what News had said, that the list is going to surprise you more than you think. And my number 10, surprisingly, is Kronos.
Oh,
Okay. Kronos, for
I
the
love
lack
that
of a better
movie.
word, if you want to say, he is in a sense a kaiju because he sucks the life in terms of energy. Okay. And the reason why
All I got is it sucked.
okay. well well he likes to suck. He's literally a vampire of energy. He sucks the life of, like I say, all types of energy. And if you was to watch the movie, it is amazing how he takes anything, electricity,
Nuclear
oil or whatever,
bombs.
and even nuclear bombs. It's like they try to bomb him, but it's like, no, that's not going to work. That's all you're going to do is increase my size and make me hunger even more for what you're going to give me. And it's such a ravenous beast of a creature, but you get the idea of that. This is a kaiju that's very unique, even though it's a mechanical, biological creature. but it's so dangerous because you don't know how you can defeat it, because it's so much about this thing that's, ravenous. It's how you going to defeat it with the technology of the day. So that being said, that's the reason why that's my number 10. And like I say, even I'm surprised, like, wow, well, that pick never did, but it is that. And that's why I say I love that y'all are giving me these different ones from where we're going to next. So, Olvin, your number, we're going for, did I say it right?
Yes, you said my name.
Okay, okay, thank you. I'm making sure. Because look, I'm terrible with names. Anyone knows me, I'm terrible with names, but I'm trying to learn. So
It's Olvin.
Olvin. Okay, Mr. Olvin. Going from 10 to 9, what is your number 9 favorite kaiju?
My number 9 is Daimajin. Is it Daimajin or Daimajin?
Daimajin, yes. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes. The one with the peg in his head, yes.
One of the Katakawas made him, and Dae, event now known as who's got the rights to a certain kaiju turtle.
Yes.
But I like Daimajin because he's just like this giant soldier. He's summoned and to fight off evil, right. And he's this wrecking machine, basically, that you could use as a ball, just to take out an army, in a sense. The logistics of it.
And it's pretty much like stone, but yet that stone moves at every point to do what he has to do. Thing. Yes. Okay. Well, Mr. Lambert, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is a newer kaiju. It's a kaiju who was bone breaking, building breaking, could not stop. It's basically like the Incredible Hulk of kaiju, and it is, of course, Leatherback from the Pacific Rim.
Yes. Okay, see, that's what. Okay.
Pacific Rim. When they first released the trailer many years ago, I always remember seeing it in like some hints. There was, everyone goes about, the kaiju that turned into the bat and flew out into the atmosphere. I think it was Okachi. I think that was the name. Okachi and Slytherin or Saturn or something like that. That was the big kaiju at the end of the film. Yeah. But Leatherback, who was like this mountain of a gorilla type kaiju, there was just something about that kaiju that stood out. Like, I had visions in my head. What if Leatherback met Kong?
Right.
What if Leatherback met Godzilla or Gamera? He's the only character in the world of Pacific Rim that I had that mindset on. He's always stood out, and I think it's a fantastic design. He was muscled, brawling. He was like a brawler kaiju, and I loved him.
Okay, well, cool. That's what. And I didn't even think about the Pacific Rim, but that's a good point, because Pacific Rim does have some very interesting kaiju's in there, and they're just as formidable as the previous kaiju's that were made beforehand. So, but yeah, that's a good point. Well, Professor, what is your number 9?
Number 9. This one's also from Pacific Rim. Knifehead.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, it's very much, I think, inspired by Giron from the Gamera movies, and you can see, because of course the big knife-shaped head. What I liked about this kaiju, although we only saw it in the pre-title sequence, the first fight between Gypsy Danger, was how ferocious it was, and even deployed a sense of strategy when fighting the Jaeger. That, and there was also a very intricate design, taking something, a very simple characteristic from a pre-existing kaiju, but it does its own thing with the design. It doesn't do anything outlandish or crazy. It's just this behemoth that's ready to fight and is pretty much relentless in
Right.
the fight.
Okay, cool. It's kind of interesting. Two Englishmen picking something from American studio-made film. I like that.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Uh, Big Bad Wolf. What is your number 9?
So, funny thing enough, it's also a Pacific Rim kaiju.
Oh, boy.
Okay, here we go. That's what I like.
And it's kaiju. The giant crocodile. The giant crocodile.
Yes.
Whose original name was going to be Croc.
Mhm.
And so, what I liked about him is it was an interesting take on how they did a crocodilian kaiju. Because what I never expected was when you open his mouth, you expect it to open like a crocodile's does. No, the lower jaw goes down, and the upper jaw splits into 3s.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then is that the one that's got that electric eel-like kind of face?
Yeah, pretty much, because I had to look up a picture to make sure I'm getting everything right. But it looks like when he opens it up, it's like all the bioluminescence right in the face that looks like an electric eel. And then it seems like his chest as well seems to be electric enough, which I think could also be based off of the Japanese deity Raijin, who is the god of thunder in Japanese folklore.
Cool. All right then. Well, moving on, and I can go and say what my number 9 is, and like I say, it's one that I don't think too many people think about, but it's Clover from Cloverfield. This particular creature, I'm gonna tell you right now, I never even thought that this thing would even be on my list until I really thought about it. This thing is unique in terms of that it's hard to kill this thing. It's just, I mean, it's like Godzilla, but it's extremely hard. I mean, they throw everything at him, and then, well, though I don't know if it's a he or she, so we can't describe what their gender is, but everything they throw at it, it's almost like not even worth the time. And then that particular kaiju we see in the movie, that monster, that's just his baby size, believe it or not.
I was going to say the Clover is literally just a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a baby. The full size version you actually see in
Paradox, I
Paradox,
think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Paradox.
Maybe, I don't know. I could take a wild guess and say maybe 2,000 feet, something like that.
Bigger, even bigger than Godzilla is.
Yeah, okay, well then it's big. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because I think that thing surpasses Mount Everest in size.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's big. Oh, it's that big. See, I knew it was big, but I didn't realize how
that
big.
Thing's head literally outstretched the heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a random guess and say that we can see more of this creature in the next Cloverfield.
If they do, that would be
apparently it's been in development hell for a while. But apparently they're all doing a direct sequel to the first Cloverfield film,
that's what I'm saying.
which is going to focus on the creature.
Why didn't they just do that from the outset?
Because they're numbnuts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, see, you got to remember when they made this film, like so many other films, they didn't expect it. They didn't expect it to go as big as it did, because that's usually. But as Kevin says, it's like y'all don't know your ass from your asshole.
Like we all knew it got bigger than it did with the first movie. So the one thing I'm gonna respect them for is they didn't do a Cybernet. I mean, a Disney, and just go right. Well, just fucking franchise the fuck out of this and just make 20 movies. What they did is they've kind of made like an anthology kind of series out of it.
Yeah,
I love Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, I love Cloverfield.
A great
was good.
film. And then basically the next movie, Paradox, is trying to like tie the dots of why they didn't just go, well, why isn't the monster in it?
Mhm.
And they're trying to explain it that because something that happened in space is created like some sort of dimensional thing that's made like this multiverse thing on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why it's happening that way. So yeah, I mean that's it, and it makes sense. And it's funny how that switches up like that. And that's why I say this creature belongs in a much higher universe than we expect it to be. But
Hell.
I say this is why I say these creatures are very unique, and it's an American-made creature. You don't see too many American-made kaijus that really get the respect that they deserve. But
Mhm.
That's right.
we're gonna move on, and Yovan, what is Oven? Oh my god! I'm gonna, you know what? Just you know what? No, just clip that and show that Walter can't pronounce his person's name right. So this is Oven.
We can make a
Oliver.
video of the many takes it takes for Walter to get it right.
Seriously, Oven. Okay. What's your number 8? Sorry.
Ultraman Ace is my number 8.
Okay.
The reason I say this, I like the design, how they can how the character can transform into Ultraman, because originally it's 2 humans, they join together, they're acrobatic like in the Henshin originally, and then later in a couple episodes down, I think it's just one person that is unites into Ace. So and I like Ace because I like the music choice that they use. The theme song's pretty cool.
But Ultraman is not a kaiju.
Well, I mean,
he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's true that he's, like I say, it's true that he's being produced by humans, but in retrospect, when he grows to a size, you can still put him in that platform as kaiju. It's like,
So if I took a massive dump that was radioactive and it made me the size of, say, Mount Everest, I'm now a kaiju.
Yeah.
Yep.
You be the ginger head man.
Right. Give me a second.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Oh no, he's about to take a massive dump. Just
No, he's not about
to.
to.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
No.
That was like, stop! Don't do it.
Stop.
You just get that clip of Willem Dafoe going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Why is this fat ginger dude shitting on my cow?
Oh my god, that's oh my god, somebody's gotta clip that. Okay, well, since we're going to
God damn it, we broke Walter.
oh jeez. Okay, Kevin, what is your number 8 favorite kaiju?
So now it's my turn.
It is your turn.
So, well, at number 10 we had Goron. At number 9 we had Leatherback. At number 8 we have a kaiju I adore, and it is Titanosaurus.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
Cool. And speaking of which, he's
Because
down here on this bottom screen here.
Yep. There he is.
yes. And my reasoning for is I absolutely adore this kaiju. He has no special abilities except waving his tail and creating windstorms. He is a natural, buff, massive, just an amazing kaiju who I've got nothing but love and respect for. And I hope a hope in mine is that they'll make their appearance in the second -1 film, but I doubt that it's either going to be Biollante or Angelus, according to rumours, are what fans want. But I think he would make a total amazing antagonist against the -1 Godzilla. But
They could
who
definitely
knows?
give him some of the abilities they gave him in the Godzilla Unleashed game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't know that he was in the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would actually like to see him brought back in one of the mini films that Toho has been making recently.
Agreed.
That would be. Oh yes, that would be.
Well,
good.
since Gemstone never did a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla one for last year, we can see them doing something for Titanosaurus this year.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know if it's true, I heard that Gemstone and Toe had a bit of a falling out last year because they couldn't agree on something.
Oh no.
Because just last year, so because I had this little disagreement, apparently nothing was produced.
Okay.
But apparently they're okay now, so who knows?
There's always got to be some kind of, it's like copyright or whatever. It's like, come on, man, just come together and just.
Well, no, I heard it was a disagreement on the kaiju they wanted in the next animated film. Even though, if you think about it, it was the anniversary of Hedorah, then it was an anniversary of Gigan, the anniversary of, say,
Megalon.
Godzilla versus Megalon, so they brought Jaguar. The next one, chronologically, it would have been Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they had this disagreement and Toho didn't give the okay on it. Apparently, this is just what I've read online. So my assumption is because it was about Mechagodzilla, they wanted to put Titanosaurus in short, the animated short, and they said no, we need Mechagodzilla because it's his birthday anniversary. And because there was disagreement, they said no. That's the only thing I can come up with because yes, I understand it is Mechagodzilla's birthday, but because it was Terra Mechagodzilla that Titanosaurus made his debut in, it kind of still fits.
Well, yeah, I would think so. But...
So unless that's the only thing I can come up with, because why would you have a disagreement?
It's
good point.
Good point, but still. But
that's basically what I heard. There was a disagreement of who the kaiju they wanted in the animated short.
Yeah.
Anyway, Walter.
Well, no, don't worry. No, you give me great. Well, you give me great content anyway. So, but now let's push on and go to Daniel and give us your number 8, sir.
At number 8, I am going with not an American kaiju, not a Japanese kaiju, but a British kaiju, Reptilicus.
Oh, Reptilicus is British? I thought it was.
I thought he was Danish.
No,
yeah,
I'm getting it confused. I meant Behemoth, the giant behemoth.
Oh, Behemoth. Oh, I was about to say, it's like I thought Reptilicus.
Just what to say. I remember Reptilicus being Danish.
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have had that wine.
Okay.
Anyway, no the giant behemoth. Don't tempt me, Kevin. Please don't tempt me.
You need a drink, right?
Looks like I picked a bad day to quit sniffing glue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, giant behemoth.
Okay.
Effectively, it's Britain's culmination of the Retrosaurus and Godzilla mashed into one. There is a charm about this particular kaiju, just seeing it rising up out of the Thames and just smashing up all of London. But at the same time, you can't just help but point out, oh, that's an element taken from that kaiju, and that's an element taken from that kaiju. God, we are lazy when it comes to this. But yeah, absolutely. A really good kaiju and a decent enough monster movie if you get the chance to watch it. Has some great themes. The stop motion by, I think it was Willis O'Brien, is excellent in Giant Behemoth. So yeah, that's my number 8.
In a shameless plug, if people want to know what the viewers on this stream thought about it, go over to the entertainment headquarters because we have recently reviewed this one, the
That's
giant
right.
behemoth, on my segment, Kaiju Connections, with
Because
my
that would be-
beautiful brother, Mr. Jedi Granville, was a
Yes.
part of.
Oh well, hold up. Mr. Jake Hall has something to say. Speaking of Reptilicus, I watched the Danish version. It was not bad. The creature flies. Okay, flies. I didn't know it
Flies.
flies.
Yeah, but Reptilicus flies. And I
Okay.
remember he
What
has
the
like
hell?
yeah, he has like these wings somewhere on him somewhere, and he just spreads them, and he just takes off flying.
Can I also just say I've never seen Reptilicus?
Well, don't
Yeah,
feel
neither
bad.
have
I
I.
mean, it's. I've seen the American version. I didn't know there was a. I mean, I knew the Danish version, but I'm like, I didn't know it flew. I just like what? I was like, okay, that's. I'm.
I'm probably like Daniel Miller, that the first time I heard of Reptilicus is when they had it in the comic books.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, Gorgo, which is a UK kaiju, a UK comic company created the animated series. It's not animated series, sorry, a comic book series. And then they got licensed to Conga.
Mm-hmm.
And because of like some sort of, licensing dispute, they couldn't get Behemoth, so they ended up getting Reptilicus from Dana. And they made like this 3-way comic between Gorgo, Conga, and Reptilicus.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Something comes out of the works right there. Big Bad Wolf, what's your number 8? Great.
I would say Gorgo.
Okay.
When I watched the film, I mean, it was pretty well done with how they did everything. Very well done. I like the design. They made him pretty aquatic, and you could just tell he's built more for being in the water. Though the funny thing is, when I first heard of Gorgo, you think it's him trashing the city.
Yeah.
Until you watch the film, it turns out that's his mama doing all the work.
Yeah,
And her name's
Ogra.
literally Agra, which is pretty much his name respelled.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a big bitch, you know?
That's a huge bitch.
Exactly.
Just the
Right?
way, just the way you like them.
Yeah.
Not
I'm just
Mm.
looking
Thick
forward
thighs
to.
make the dick rise. That's all I'm going to say.
I just can't wait for Titanic Creations to finally send the email, give me the email to the Zoop link so I can finally get the PDF of Gorgo Legacy.
Okay.
Because I pre-ordered the PDF to that comic that they've been working on.
Well, I'm assuming that have you seen the CG version of Gorgo? Well, at least the mama version of it, in some shots or shorts by chance.
I have seen a little bit of what Titanic Creations has been doing with that. Because I noticed they have been doing some of the displays of the figures they've been working on. One of them is Gorgo. And I think sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, go carry on, and then I'll continue.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think one of them is like maybe Gorgo getting ready to fight this creature that we see in the cover of Gorgo Legacy comic.
Yeah, it looks like a Kraken type creature, but as you know, me and Daniel are British, and we love our British kaiju.
Yeah.
Respect there for. Don't forget, in 2023, we were at J Festival there.
Yeah.
That's right.
And during that time, me and another good friend of ours, Sci-Fi Century, had a walk around, and I knew that Titanic Creations had the pre-order up for the Gorgo figure.
Mhm.
I had the pleasure of, when I was at J-Fest, to actually physically hold and see it firsthand, the actual figure, like the prototype.
Wow.
And when I held it in my hand and I had it right in front of Matt, who was the creator of Titanic Creation, I was like this. Look, I pre-ordered the figure. I want it. I physically own that figure. And he was so impressed with it, he gave me an autograph. He gave me and Daniel autographs of the book of the Soul Wars comic The funny thing is with that as well, sorry for going in like a tangent, he gave us the books that quickly after I pre-ordered the Go-Go figure, that it was about a month or two later after G-Fest, I went to read the book, and I noticed he gave me Daniel's copy that he autographed. So Daniel, aka Sci-Fi Century, in his house has the Kevin autograph. So it says to Kevin, and I've got the to Daniel here in here. So I always find that funny, but it's also a memorable story and an amazing moment from G-Fest.
But that's one of the more, how can I say, interesting stories with G-Fest, and I let you know, like, you never know what's going to go down at G-Fest in terms of stuff like that happening, because it's like there's so many stories floating around at G-Fest that some will remain, like Las Vegas, it stays in Las Vegas. Though the others like that, it's good, wholesome, just like funny rhetoric, and it's like so wonderful, and I just wish more people, when they go to G-Fest, would not get the dark side of it. Unfortunately, there is a dark side like everything else, but I like to see them to see the light in terms of all that.
But going back to that, the one thing I'll say is it will always remind me of Go-Go.
Yeah,
because the story behind that was me and Sci-Fi Century is it connects back to Go-Go.
Would you like to show the audience your Go-Go figure?
No, because it's in a big pile of fucking boxes.
Well,
and the reason it's in a big pile of boxes, because if anybody wants to do, I tell you what I can show. Since
while you're doing that, let me show me my. Not show you mine. I mean, I don't want to show you mine. Let me show you my number 8.
Yep, I got that same comic for Christmas.
Okay, my number 8.
Yeah, but look at the signature.
Zigra.
Oh, look at the signature. It says to Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Where he has to Kevin on. So the reason I can't show me Go-Go figure is if anybody goes on my channel, they'll see a blog that I've just posted. I'm gonna be doing a reshuffle of this room. And I'm gonna be revamping this room, and it's literally going to be setting it up for the future for my channel. We're going back to Walter because it's his channel. Sorry.
No, that's you got to remember, I'm still as I told someone yesterday, I'm still an upstart. So the things I'm doing right now, this is what you call gold. This is content gold. This is not something that I can just say throw away and say it's like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe next time. No, this is what I live for. I live for moments like this that are spontaneous, they're fun, and they're not hurting nobody, and it makes me realize why I love doing this kind of stuff. Yeah. But getting back to my number 8, I mean, I showed a picture, but Zigra, and I'm pretty sure if anyone knows who Zigra is, that's it's a shark-like kind of creature from a Gamera versus Zigra, and that was my first introduction to Gamera, believe it or not, because that was my first Gamera picture that I ever watched, and it just seems so amazing seeing this creature. It looked like a damn like I say, it's a shark. You can pretty much say it's a shark, although it's not necessarily a shark. It's just a very amphibian creature. Yeah,
it's from space, basically.
Yes, and as he says, you Earthlings are ugly. Where I am beautiful. It's like, okay, Mr. Egotistical here. It's like you think you're so big and bad. It's like, all right, you're gonna get fish fried soon.
The funny thing is, I think Zigra's initial design is based off of goblin sharks. If you look at a picture of a goblin shark, have a side by side with a goblin shark and Zigra. Zigra's design is pretty much mainly based off of a goblin shark, especially his face.
Oh, Century's joining them.
Okay. Oh, whoa, Century. Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay, he said he just got home. Okay, brother. How you?
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully you're feeling all right, brother. I know you had to take care of some business, but you're handling your business. That's what you're supposed to
And
do.
Walter, did you ever watch the Gamera anime on Netflix?
Yes, and I was going to say I was about. It's good. I thank you for mentioning that, Kevin. I saw that, and the redesign of Ziegler, and that was very like, wow, that's a pretty cool design. Tell you the
Like,
truth.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
been-
honest, I preferred the design in the anime to
To the film.
like, yeah,
Mm.
because I like this. I like the stingray look. I think it suits the character the Gramo.
Yeah,
It
they
does.
definitely
agree.
did him. It made him more of a menace with what he could do against Gamma.
Yeah.
I love the massive tail, like the Iglongan tail. That
Mhm.
makes sense.
No, I mean, this is what I love about certain designs. It's like, okay, the design that we have, because like it's same with Gamera. I like the design of Gamera when the Showa films were out and everything. But when we get this redesign in the animated version, I was like, okay, that's an upgraded badass version of him. I like this. And then we see all these other creations of the past kaijus he's fought in a different style. I was like, what would be the upgrade? And I'm like, that's what I want to see. I want an upgrade of these creatures, and hopefully you don't have, or put it like this, you don't go singular point with them, because singular
Mm.
point, okay, they may have one or two kaijus in there that, okay, there was good upgrade. The
Only
others is
one
like,
that I liked was Anguillus.
yeah, and that's the one that's, I could say, gives a pass. The other one, I'm not going to name the name right now because you probably
Century's
already know who.
messaging you on Messenger
Who's
in the
missing
group
me.
in the group chat. He
Oh,
wants to join us.
Well, just ignore
Also,
the group chat because we're not in the group chat right now.
yeah, I'm like,
We're
so
live. Anything that's in the group chat, just ignore.
yeah, well, like I said, we're like I said, you can, if you want to join in, sci-fi, you can just hop on the what you call, but no, like I say, we're here right now. But
Mhm.
no, to get to the point is that I like the redesign of certain things, and I think it needs to be redesigned like that because you want to really see what would look different from, because if you just go straight up retro, it's like, okay, now it's kind of boring now. It's like, okay, do something different now. See what it's going
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
like.
See how I look at it, right?
Mhm.
If you look at the Showa era,
Mm-hmm.
you had all the Showa era characters
Mhm.
in Godzilla. And then what happened is when it comes to the Heisei, they kind of updated the designs and look of a lot of the Godzilla characters. But
Yeah.
when it came to Gamera, they only added, apart from Gaius, who they updated, the other two films it was new creatures. We never got like an updated version of classic Showa era kaiju. So
Mm-hmm.
when it come to the new animated show, it was like a taste of what could have been in the Heisei era or
Mhm.
an updated version of, say, a Gamera film.
Right.
And it watered the mouths of the fans. So
Right.
the
See.
fact that when we're doing what's Gamera's anniversary this year, which I want to do an anniversary special, which you guys can all be a part of. It'd be interesting since the story that owns Gamera have already hinted that they've got plans for his anniversary. That hopefully we're going to get a new movie. If not, I'd be very disappointed because at the end of the day, let's face it, the MonsterVerse is capitalized on Godzilla. It's made Kaiju in many ways popular again
Yeah.
for general audiences. So why wouldn't you capitalize on the popularity?
And I'm
Godzilla?
thinking, and as you mentioned that, I'm thinking that's more for not just for retro, like for me, like kind of a refresher on what it looks like, but also for the new generations who are into kaiju's. And like I say, these kids today, who are into monsters, are like they get to see something that's like, oh, this is from years before, but this is a new style, a new design. It's like, oh, this is what it looked like back then, and it gets them, as you say, gets their mouth watering even more with that.
Yep.
That's what you want to do. But let's move on to number 7, and
Lucky 7.
oh yeah, exactly. Lucky number 7. Hopefully, I can say your name with the lucky number 7.
7.
Open.
Yep.
What's your number 7?
So the kaiju, my choice for 7 is Dragon Caesar from Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because to me it's this piloted by this character. In fact,
is that the creature? Is that the one that's like what color is it? White or green?
It's green.
Yes, that's what I thought. It was green. Yes.
The reason I chose it is because Power Rangers, I grew up with Power Rangers. I was a kid that watched Power Rangers in the 90s. I fell in love with Lightspeed Rescue. But I really like the design of Dragon Caesar. It's got a drill on the end of its tail for drilling into monsters. It's got missiles it can fire. It can combine with the Megazord to form even powerful form, and it can also unite with Titanosaur, and with that form it can develop into an even more powerful form, combined still with the Megazord into the ultimate Dragon Zord. But
so it's not actually a kaiju, it's a mechanic. It's
yes and no. It's
a cyborg.
Well, it's not even a cyborg. It's a Dragon Zord. It's a Zord.
I mean, I guess it depends on your point of view. It's as you say, it's not, but it grows. As I say, it forms up to create this bigger size, type of creature that you see, and that's what it's going for. I mean, that's what it's.
So I'm gonna go back to the kaiju. So, for example, I look at, for example, Bagheera. Bagheera is not a kaiju. It's a giant mechanical operated machine.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me is not a kaiju. I love Bagheera. Mechagodzilla is not really a kaiju, but in a sense it is, because it is the mechanical version of Godzilla.
Well, I mean, to each their own, Anubis. I mean, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying this because it's just you've got your point of view. My point of view is it's not a kaiju. It is a mechanical being.
Mm-hmm.
But and you know what? And look, to me, that shows respect right there, because you're supposed to give your opinion and you're supposed to give how you look at it. And as you say, it's like, I mean, it's not necessarily a kaiju in that sense, but I guess, as I say, if you look at it from this perspective, it could be that. But true enough, respect the person's opinion and what their point of view is, and I feel like you can see it.
Oh, don't get us wrong. If I'm not being disrespectful,
no, you're not. No, that's
nothing but respect. Your choice, But for me, it's not a kaiju.
Yeah. But no, stick to your guns with that, because that's the whole point. Because you're supposed to,
it's his opinion. It's what he loves, and I've got nothing but respect for what you love.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like Mechagodzilla in that sense. It is sentient, also, so I have to give it that edge as well.
Okay. Well, Kevin, let's go with your number 7 then. What's you number 7 on that list?
Let's have a look. And my number 7 is. So this is going to be a tough one.
Okay, that's what she said.
Well, not in my opinion, but my number 7 is going to be one of the latest kaiju on the block.
Okay.
I absolutely adore this kaiju. I absolutely love the design, the look. I just don't think they got the justice in the film that they deserved. And it is, of course, Shimu.
Shimu?
Oh, Shimu? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Shimu for me is just beautifully designed throughout the, especially when it comes to the Godzilla world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we actually had a Titan that was all kind of ace-based. So Shimu is, for me, beautifully designed.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think, yeah, she's definitely a Kaiju. But she's beautifully designed, looks amazing.
Yeah.
Very powerful, very strong.
Is it because she's a woman, that's why she's so gracefully beautiful like that? Maybe that's the case.
Well, think about it. Before it was released that year, Fishy was female. They were calling that a male.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I didn't realize that.
Yes. Okay. So, despite the design of how she looked, they just automatically said it was a male. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't give a shit if it was female or male.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's the kaiju itself is beautifully looking, amazingly represented, and super powerful. And I just hope that whatever happens in the next movie, they don't just fucking do a quick kill.
Right.
Because I think because I've introduced this character, we need to explore the backstory of her more.
I think so too, because I mean, she's too precious. She's too that to just throw away to the wind. I mean, that's like, nah, you gotta.
Me only hate if they're gonna focus more on Godzilla in the next movie. Only way I can see if the main point is for it to be on Godzilla, to get Kong involved, he needs to be pulled into it. Only way I can see them be pulling Kong into it is for two reasons. They kill somebody he loves. Yeah. And I deep down know it's not going to be fucking Zuko.
No. So if it's Zuko, it's like, okay, we got a problem.
So
here.
There's going to be two issues, because obviously they're building an audience for families. The Kong kill Zuko, merchandise sales will go down the pan. Two options. Zuko gets kidnapped for whatever reason, and Shimu gets killed by whatever. And that will fucking cripple me.
Okay.
So I will say this. When KDM first revealed, like, how we knew about Shima was, so Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone, the Battle Royale, it had a Godzilla X Kong event that happened. Mm-hmm. And there was a certain area where we went to this cave, and you saw on the cave painting, it was Godzilla fighting this monster, and the cave painting represent, like, everybody thought it was going to be Anguirus or something like Anguirus, but it was Shimo. But at that point, everybody thought it was going to be a male because KDM put in the post that the subtitle name was The Father of All Titans. And so at that point, that was early production. No one knew exactly what was going to happen.
So everyone thought Shimo because of that was the male.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was the rumor.
Huh. That would make sense. But look who's arrived with us, Mr. Sci-Fi Century. How you doing, brother?
What's up, guys? What's up, man? Just here, got back. Sorry, couldn't make it in the beginning, but I'm here. So,
hey, brother, look, you're more than welcome.
Gotta hang out with the brothers. Man, and all that.
Have I told you, Sentry, how much I love you, brother?
Okay, he's really okay.
What's up?
Slacker.
He's saying,
what was that?
No, say it
I
again.
never said you're a slacker.
No, I was just saying.
Here you
that
go,
if I told
Anubis. I
you-
sent him a reply.
Oh my
What
god.
was that, Kevin?
Dude,
Oh.
that's fighting words.
Yeah, he's here.
I'm just saying, if I tell you recently, Sentry, I love you, brother.
Oh, I love you too, brother. Much love, man.
Well,
Also,
fuck, but yeah,
you're
but
also you're fashionably late and you're a slack ass.
alrighty.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I had a legitimate reason, but at least I made it a little bit sooner. But
Okay. Well, since you're here, brother, we're at number 7, but just to get a refresher, give us the from 10 to 7 your favorite on that list.
No, yeah.
oh shit, this was hard. This is a hard list because it's just 10, bro. But I just went off the fly because I wanted to join.
That's fine.
But
But just start
Yeah.
from
number 10. But
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
10 to
it's still
7.
Toho, but not Godzilla, right? It's still Toho, but not Godzilla.
Yeah, no Godzilla. No Godzilla.
Okay,
Godzilla's
okay.
not allowed on this list.
Okay, this was hard.
Okay.
This was hard because there's so many of them, dude. But I just went, okay, I'm just gonna go the ones on top of my head because I love all of them, and the Tohos and a lot of outside of Toho. But I'll start with King Caesar.
Yeah, but you can't
number
add,
10.
you can't add out this total as well because
Hmm.
we're doing any kaiju outside of Godzilla.
Yeah, I did. Okay,
sure?
and yeah, King Caesar number 10. Number 9, Zigra, because Zigra was the first Gamera film that I ever saw.
Okay.
And
yeah,
then
that was
number
mine.
8, number 8 is the Kraken from Clash of the Titans.
Oh, good
Original,
choice.
isn't it?
Nice. Okay. And
The Kraken and number 7 is Mothra.
okay, nice. And we got another addition here. What is up, Anubis? Okay.
He's
I
back.
wasn't
Oh,
expecting you, dude.
somebody
I'm
had to
here now.
follow
You
me.
can talk shit to my face. That's
Oh
right.
my God.
Somebody had to follow me, right? Somebody had to follow
Oh
me.
my
Just
God.
right when I joined.
I follow.
He didn't like that you
I
were
follow.
here without him.
Damn, dude, that was.
Well, someone had to be the toilet bowl of the group.
Speaking of that, Kevin, aren't you supposed to take the giant radioactive crap soon?
Oh my God, dude. That's
What?
What you say?
Yeah, no. Hey, little wolf, sit down. Sit down, little wolf. Sit down. You're in timeout. You're in timeout.
How about you sit down?
Anyway, if you're gonna join, so 10 to 7.
Oh God. Well, let me ask you this, Anubis, before we go.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. Do you want me to play that video of yours, or just exempt it, or what? I mean, it's
No, you can play, but you can do it at
Okay.
the end if you want.
okay.
That's fine.
I'll just.
I'm just here to crap all over your picks. That's all.
Okay. Well, okay.
Just kidding.
let's-
Just kidding.
Anubis is here to fuck shit up and leave.
No, look, we're having fun, so that's all.
He always fucks shit up and leave. He
He's a
always
gate
fucks shit up
crasher.
and leaves.
Oh my God, this is.
I'm just here to throw bombs and say, "See you guys, gotta go."
He's like the STD that no one wanted, but all.
Oh, fucking well played. Oh my god, fuck you, you fucking credit drinker.
He definitely puts the D in
He's
STD.
he's the person at lunchtime that nobody wants to sit with.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's why I'm
No,
down
he-
here. I'm in the lonely box. Yeah.
No, he's the guy that goes to other people's groups and goes like, "Hey,
He's
can I have
like-
lunch?" And he goes like,
like-
"No,
no,
dude,
no.
you'll just
Fuck
Oh,
you.
that's
This
right.
isn't the Anubis roast hour. Fuck you, motherfuckers.
Hey, look, to be fair, Anubis, I'm usually at the bottom, so don't feel bad. You know, this is just
Yeah, hey Anubis.
Walter,
Hey, Anubis.
Walter, that's because you're black, baby.
okay. Well, that's okay. Well, hey,
Oh. Once
Just kidding.
you go black, you never go back.
that's right.
Once you go black, you never go back.
That's why I'm sexual chocolate.
Well,
That's
why
why
we
I'm
go-
top
when-
now.
when you go great, there's no other way."
Okay. Okay, let's get back on
well, you
track.
can dye your fucking hair, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, get back on track. Professor, because you're the level-headed one. What's your number 7?
Okay. Number 7. It's not from a kaiju movie per se, but
Ferran.
it is a kaiju. I know it's not Varan. He's much, much later on in the Wilson universe. You have to
Yeah,
wait
no
a while,
shit.
okay?
No surprise there.
Okay, you all right, sci-fi?
Yeah, just
Got choked
Ren.
It
Ren.
wasn't me.
No, it's not. It's actually from a cult classic science fiction series from England, and it is the first movie that they made back in the 60s. Now, the movie is titled Thunderbirds Are Go, and the kaiju is the rock snakes from the planet Mars.
Oh yes, okay.
Now, to give some backstory, this is from the second half of the movie when the Zero X succeeds in its mission to Mars. The MEV is scouring the surface, and there are all of these coils, these unnatural formations around the planet's surface. They blow one up to
Sorry,
get
I
a
left.
sample.
Sorry, I thought I had an emergency there. Sorry.
That's okay. They blow one up to get a sample, but there's this really perfectly done special effects sequence where one of the snakes uncoils, the head just lifts up, and very slowly this singular eye opens. You have this really menacing music, and the
So
last
it
thing you
hints
expect
at
is
a
this
kaiju.
fireball just blasts out, and then all of these snakes just arrive en masse, and it's just chaos. Now, besides the episode Attack of the Alligators, which I wouldn't necessarily say they're kaiju since they're not kaiju Godzilla sized, Thunderbirds Are Go is really the only instance, at least on screen, of kaiju in a Super Mario Nation universe. But yeah, if you actually see this movie and see the rock snakes, they're unnerving, they're sinister, and they're very simple but very effective design. And the build up to their reveal is genuinely unnerving.
Yeah, you don't really fully see them, but it's the whole atmosphere behind it.
Yes.
And then as a professor was saying, the music is the thing that makes it build up to that point.
Yes.
That music is like, it's so eerie. It gets under your skin when you hear it. It's like, what's going on? It's like something, because when you see it in that one shot, when you see it pass by to one of those, it's like that music drums up. It's like, okay, something's going on here. There's something to miss. I'm like, yeah, but that's cool though. But let's move on. Mr. Big Bad Wolf, what's your number 7 here, sir?
So I'm gonna go with a kaiju that never made an in-film appearance, but he has appeared in games, and that will be the reptilian crystalline lion Crystallock from Godzilla Unleashed, because he was like the
Crystallock.
He was like the mutant opposite to King Caesar. Because I like to think of his fights as being more feral compared to King Caesar, because he's like a huge crystalline construct that was kind of like the end result to what happened when Space Godzilla crashed to Earth and made all the Power Surge crystals go off. Crystallock formed. He's like a crystalline golem version of King Caesar. Like every time I would play as him, I'd always want to fight King Caesar. Every time I play King Caesar, I wanted to fight against him because it was like the yin and the yang.
What's up, Phil?
What is up, my brother? Sorry I missed you yesterday. Sorry I missed you on the video chat yesterday. Sorry, D, I missed you on the video chat, man. My bad.
Okay, what's up, bro? All right, but continue on.
Go ahead, Little Wolf.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that King Caesar and Crystallock were pretty much like the yin and the yang. Just so much about them was just similar, but also different. And it's like, if they were to make some kind of fan film, or maybe some kind of film with King Caesar, if Toho could find a way to get Crystallock from, I forget the name of the studio. It wasn't just a toy, but Pipeworks.
Pipeworks.
Yeah, if they could find a way to get the rights from Pipeworks, I would like to see that kind of film between the two, because I feel that would be an interesting rivalry.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to do it on Monday, but check out my... I've got a kaiju content coming out on Monday. So, Big Bad Wolf, check it out, because some of what you're talking about I'm going to include in that video.
All right.
Well, Nubis, even though you're at the bottom, sir, and you're a late bloomer, from 10 to 7. I mean, I know the list, but just tell these fellows what's your 10 to 7 favorite kaiju.
I gotta try to remember now. I know number 10 was the Warbat from GVK.
Yes, the Warbat. Let me see here. I probably have to look it up myself because I kind of forget.
Number 9 was Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
Number 8 was the Frostvark from Monarch.
Yes.
I love the Frostvark.
So that was in there. Let me see.
And number 7 was they wasn't yeah.
Oh, Gamera. Gamera is number 7.
Okay, yeah, Gamera. I was gonna say Gamera. Okay. All right. So we've caught up now, and now going to me, the one who's the bastard who's making this shit happen. My number 7 is going to be a kind of a surprise. It's and it's from the Monsterverse universe. It's Behemoth.
Ooh.
I like this design of this particular kaiju. I mean, he doesn't get that much airtime, but for some reason, it's something about him. He looks like a mammoth, but he's got that's kind of gorilla-like,
like a sloth.
He's based off of a giant ground sloth.
Oh, he's based off of a sloth. Okay, but I mean, I see that in that. I mean, and it's just like, immediately I think, mammoth, but it's like, no, it's more to him, his design and everything, and I think he's just pure, brute strength, and everything.
Yeah.
That's
because Michael Dougherty, the director of King of the Monsters, said the one thing we don't get a lot of within the world of kaiju cinema is mammal kaiju. So there's not many mammal kaiju, and he wanted to make a kaiju that was like a mammal, that was more like a natural earth-based kaiju. So he came up with obviously Behemoth, who's like a mixture of, like, I would say, like a bear and a sloth and a mammoth.
Well, they did a good success. It's, for me, it's very unique of design, and I just love it. I just wish that they would have more of him in future events, but I think he's killed off in Godzilla versus Kong, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be wrong, but
he's still alive.
He's still alive. It says unknown on the screen.
Oh, he does. Okay, cool.
It says, but obviously you've got all the comic books, but then apparently the comic book canon and the actual film canon aren't canon. It's separated.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess.
Also, if you go to the opening Godzilla versus Kong, it does show like the monsters Godzilla's defeated. Yeah, and it shows like he defeated Scylla, and we know that she's still alive because we know in the next film he literally fights Scylla and kills her. Same with it shows he fought Tiamat and defeated her, but then the next film he killed her. So pretty much all of them are pretty much still alive.
Okay, because I had to be sure, because I mean I wasn't, because the way they were showing it was like he was
It sounds horrible, but it's like Star Wars, right? Lucasfilm before Disney bought it had such an amazing backstory that all had like this shared universe from the originals, the prequels. Once Disney bought Lucasfilm, anything after they bought it, apart from the original films or the prequel films, was void, which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And with Legendary, it's skeptical.
So we don't really know. But let's move on to number 6 of our list. Yulvin or
Ulvin.
I told somebody you're gonna have to make a clip of me screwing up your name.
Is anyone keeping track of how many times that's happened now?
I don't know, because I've lost track.
A lot.
You know what? We should have done a game if every time Walter gets his name wrong, I take a shot. I'd be on my fucking back by now.
You're gonna be drunk. That's the case.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants to do.
Okay. But what's your number 6? So
this guy right here is my number 6.
okay, the
Kong.
king, one of the
King
kings.
Kong, the eighth wonder of the
Monkey.
world.
Monkey.
Monkey,
Monkey.
Mr. Monkey.
Monkey.
But the reason I
The
chose
funky
him,
monkey.
he was the first ever kaiju monster character I ever saw on film on VHS. I fell in love with Kong, and he's. I still like him to this day. I think I'm happy he's in the MonsterVerse with Godzilla. Also, I think it benefits with both of them being in the MonsterVerse because it can connect the fan bases of both the King Kong franchise and the Godzilla franchise together.
Wait a minute. Kong reminds D of his ex.
No, Behemoth.
The Behemoth.
Oh,
No.
I'm like, did she not shave, brother? What was going on there?
Oh, now he's saying Kong reminds him of his ex.
Oh my God. Well, Kevin, what's your number 6, man?
Yeah, so I'm
Doesn't matter.
I'm looking at my list here. And I'm getting confused. I said Titanosaurus, I said Guron, I said Leatherback, I said Shimo. Who else did I mention? Because I feel like
you didn't mention. Did you mention Simo? Good.
yeah, Shimo.
Yeah, you mentioned Shimo. You mentioned Shimo already.
Yeah.
So up to where? Number 6.
Number
Yep.
6.
Yeah, number 6. Yes.
So number 6 would have to be another.
Oh, wow. Hold on, before you go any further, give a big shout out to Mr. Artistic Lizard here. What's up, Artistic?
What's up, Brendan?
What
What's
up,
up, Brendan?
What up,
Welcome.
ALP?
Good
What's
to
up?
hear from you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
Number
ahead.
Yeah.
6, I'm gonna have to go with another Gamera Kaiju,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go with Legion.
Oh, okay.
Legion is an amazing kaiju. The design, the look, the backstory, the film itself. She makes her debut in. There's nothing wrong with that kaiju. Absolutely one of the best.
Okay.
Simply that best.
Fuck, I should have put that one in my fucking list.
Well, maybe you can. Well, look, maybe you can jump off, come back, and you'll be at the bottom, and then present her next. Whatever.
He's always at the bottom when he's with me.
Every time I'm with a girl, I'm always on the bottom, bro.
Okay, well that's
Every time I'm with a girl, I'm always on the
Real
bottom.
men are at the bottom.
okay. But
Yep.
what is your number 6, Century?
No wonder I am totally exhausted.
I'm not even gonna try to harp on that. I'm not messing with that.
Who was next? Who was next? Me.
You, Century. What's your number 6?
You.
6 gotta be the King of Skull Island, man. It's gotta be Kong.
Okay.
Monkey.
Kind of surprised we had the same one.
That's gotta be Kong. It's also because he's he's a staple, man. He's what inspired the Big G and E.G. Tsuburaya and Tomoyuki Tanaka, Ishiro Honda. So that's why I had to put him in the list, man, because it's just well deserved. It has to be on the list. So yeah, so what do you call it? But yeah, man, what's up, my brother D. But yeah, that's Kong has to be because, like I said, he's a staple, man. He's a staple of the kaiju genre. So I had to put.
He's kind of the one that started it all, as the saying goes. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Professor, give us your number 6, please.
At number 6, now this movie, it does relate to Alvin and Century's number 6, but it's not King Kong, but rather one of King Kong's most deadliest rivals to date from Peter Jackson's movie, the Statosaurus Rex.
Okay.
Ooh.
The what?
The V-Rex.
The Statosaurus.
T-Rex?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's his full name, the Statosaurus Rex.
Yes.
Now,
Sounds like me ex.
yeah,
I mean,
so yeah,
depends on your point of view.
yeah, it takes the basic standard of a Tyrannosaurus, but makes it even more terrifying and actually
Yeah,
makes it
definitely me ex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a much longer snout, more slender, more snake-like hips
Mhm.
and bones, especially in the rib cages, and the teeth. You notice they're all crooked and they're actually coming out from the outside of
Yeah.
the jaw. And I'm not quite sure if it was Peter Jackson who confirmed this, but it was definitely from someone who works on the movie. The three V-Rexes who attack Kong, they're all from the same family, and because of Skull Island dropping into the sea and all of the territories getting smaller and smaller, there was a genetic bottleneck of all of the animals on that island. So it's possible the V-Rex may have been incestually breeding.
Yeah,
Which
from what I
would
can
explain that messed up face it has going on.
Yeah, from what I can understand, there was a bull, there was a matriarch, and then there was a juvenile.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
going to
go
say, so fun fact is the Fastatosaurus was actually based off of a concept of what would have happened if Tyrannosaurus Rex didn't die out, but was allowed to continually adapt.
That's also explained in the documentary Skull Island: A Natural History.
Okay. Well, Buttback Wolf, while you got the floor, what is your number 6, sir?
I am going to have to go with what many of the community like to think of as the Godzilla to the Ultraman franchise. That's Gamora. Especially, my favorite is the Ultra Galaxy version of Gamora because of how they upped his design.
It's Gamora, the Prince of the Monsters.
Yeah, that's what many of the community like to call him, as Prince of the Monsters.
That's right.
Because he has an auxiliary wave that he blows out, that he releases from his nasal horn, which he can also use in a variety of other ways against Kaiju. But he can also transform into EX Gamora. Yeah, he has like
I'm
that.
sorry. He has like the crescent moon shape. Like
and then he has like the
bottom. Oh, okay.
then he has like the nasal horns, and the back of him looks like
he has like a head like a Triceratops in a way.
Yeah. But he can also burrow kind of like Bayoga. Oh no, you're fine. But yeah, that's pretty much Gamora. Then they upped his ante by giving him an EX version in Ultra Galaxy.
Okay. Well, Anubis, I think I know what yours is. Number 6 is this fella right here.
Yeah.
Himself, Rodan. Yes.
Yeah.
The angry turkey
Fire
himself.
chicken.
Yes.
The giant thing, the overcooked Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Southern fried chicken.
But what's the reason behind your number 5?
Well, number 6. It's just
number 6.
I like to make fun of it, but at the same time, Rodan is very cool. And like I talked about with Sentry when we did our spotlight, his story is like one of the more sorrowful ones that you'll see in the Kaiju universe. Totally. So like the fact that he had an appearance in the Monsterverse is great, but I would still like to see an updated origin story for him. Plus, it's a very unique creature that doesn't rely on like lasers or anything like that. It's just about speed and power through flight. So like the way that the Monsterverse used him in terms of like when he would do that twist and destroy the planes, I thought that was like a very cool way to show his bird-like tendencies, even his mannerisms, as we've talked about with the different creatures of the Monsterverse. So I don't think there could be any top 10 without Rodan in it. Like he has to be there regardless.
Amen to that.
I'm not going to argue to that fact. I mean, because he is one of the baddest, and he's on my list, but I'm not going to say what part of the list he's on.
Right.
And speaking of my list, my number 5 is
Are you 5 or 6?
Oh my God, what am I doing, dude? See, this is what happens when you get older. I have a birthday coming up, and I'm losing my mind. It's number 6. What the fuck? Okay, think. Okay. my number 6, and I'm gonna borrow your. Do I have? Do you have? Wait a minute. Let me see. Do I have your? No, I don't. I'm going to. Well, my number 6 is King Ghidorah. So, and I think it's without saying, without King Ghidorah, you wouldn't have a vicious, ferocious, type of kaiju that would inspire other, studios to say, let's make a very ferocious type of kaiju that is going to pretty much, bring down the house in terms of what it's doing. Because let's face it, when King Ghidorah came on the screen, you figure like, oh, who is this 3-headed motherfucker? He comes on here, he brings the pain, he brings in his ferociousness, and he's like, I ain't holding back. And to be honest, you can't really say if he's a he or she anyway. I think he's one of the more non-binary kaijus out there, because he that particular kaiju really has no identity. He wrecks shit. That's about it, So that's my number 6. If I get my numbers right, good God. Okay, but before we go on to number 5, for some reason why I keep getting this screwed up, let's get a little special video from a good friend, Gojira 851, that he gave me, that he gave his top 10, and I'm going to play for it to you now. There's no sound to it, so just that.
Oh, Sarkor.
Whoa.
That's a good pick, actually.
It's just I was gonna say just pictures here.
Slatter.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I
That's a
like
good pick.
Slatter.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah. Makes sense since they're both from Frankenstein.
Whoa.
See? And I was watching this and I was like, yes, I love this, man. This is what I'm talking about. You choose what you like. And see, there's good old Gorgo.
Yeah.
Represent the UK. Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can be surprised what his number 1 is.
Everard's cousin.
People will be surprised what my number 1 is, too.
And that shot right
Like-
there was over, boy. That scared the hell out of me.
Mecha Gojira.
Yes, with Titanosaurus on the end, and see every iteration of it.
That's what I was kind of saying about Dragon Caesar when I was saying mine, that he can kind of do that. Like he can, in a sense.
Monkey.
Right?
Monkey.
And then,
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
that's
sick.
it. But they're getting used as a batter.
oh god.
he's using him as a freaking flail.
I'm gonna guess for number 1,
Watch what it is.
Titanosaurus.
Mm-mm.
I'm just guessing.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope,
King
King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah, baby.
Man, Rodan wasn't even in there, man. What the hell?
Dude,
No.
see, right
No,
there.
he did
It's like,
put him in
you
there.
humiliated me,
Oh,
Gojira.
I am disappointed. I am disappointed in you, Gojira.
I just
Oh,
got
my
done
God.
saying nobody could leave him out of the fucking top 10, but that motherfucker sure the fuck did.
Anubis, you jinxed it when you said no one can. And
Yeah.
Matt went, you
That's
know what?
crazy.
Matt went, hold my beer.
Dude, Matt
Yeah.
said,
That's
fuck
pretty good.
you, dude.
I am disappointed. I am very disappointed.
Too bad he's not watching the stream.
Well,
Just
he
think
was.
you fight.
Was he?
Oh,
No,
I'd give him some
Dark
shit.
over your ass.
Oh, my
Jesus.
I can't wait till the end of this stream.
Oh god! But since we're on number 5, hopefully I'm going to say the name
Oven.
Oven. Yes.
Oh, then.
oh.
Oven.
Yeah.
Oven. What's your number 5? Kaiju?
I've got him right here in my hand. It's
Robo
Rodan.
Chicken.
Rodan.
Yeah. See,
I
even
got-
Alvin put Rodan in there, bro. Come on, Gojira, man. Really, man.
That's fucked.
The guy
up.
represents Team Century.
Alvin. Alvin hasn't even seen all the Godzilla movies, and he put Rodan in his top 10. Oh
Have
my
you-
god.
have you even seen
Okay,
Rodan
Matt,
himself?
you need to go in the corner now.
But
Oh God! This is,
Now go ahead, Alvin. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alvin. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alvin.
I'm
the
pretty
reason I
sure
chose Rodan just jumps out to me as one of these cool kaijus. I would say he's even king of the birds of all, king of dinosaur bird, Petrodonian,
Pterosaurs.
or whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's what he is.
Hmm.
Pterodactyls, Petrodonian, same thing basically. But he just jumps out to me. I like his appearance in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. It's such an iconic role for Rodan to team up with Godzilla in that movie.
Is that when Mothra's like jizzing all over him?
might be. You never know.
But
Giving
I
him the
just
face
like
off?
how they have a bond together
Hmm.
with each other, and how Rodan's design is really cool in that movie to me.
Okay. Well, Kevin, what?
Damn right.
Yeah. What you say?
Damn right.
So,
Damn right, man.
so we're up to number. Is it number 5?
It's number 5. I'm
Yes,
getting my
sir.
numbers
So,
right now. Yes.
I'm going over me kaiju.
Yes.
Two.
Did you not list him?
No, he
got
listed
them
them. It's
here.
just he's trying to make sure they're in the right order.
It takes me ways. I forget. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I forgot. In terms of
You know, this is going to be one of my best of moments of video.
So I mentioned Leatherback, I mentioned Guron, I mentioned Titanosaurus, I mentioned Shimo, I mentioned Legion, didn't I?
Yes,
You
Yeah.
did.
So is that so I'm on to the next one, aren't I?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
So the next one for me would be Gamera
Okay.
at number 5. Love the character. I love the story behind him, everything. I prefer him in obviously the Heisei era.
Okay.
Obviously, Gamera Rebirth, the series is just amazing. That should have been the continuation of the Heisei era in live action, in my opinion. But that gave a bang to Gamera and give him a boost. But it feels like no one's willing to give the character a risk.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like obviously Godzilla's dominated Japan, rightly so after -1, but there's got to be room for more.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Well, let's move on to Mr. Sci-Fi Century. What is your number 5, sir?
Gotta show my appreciation and give a shout out to my brothers from the UK, the professor and my brother Kevin Lambert. Gorgo, number 5.
Hey, nice.
If I was there, I'd lick you.
Yeah, but no, yeah. No, but yeah, Gorgo had to be Gorgo because I really enjoyed the film when I first saw it, and it being European style of production, co-production with the United States. It was good. It's a great. I'm trying to put all of the forefathers on there, like all the ones that like set the standard for the kaiju genre, and especially all kinds of. I mean, there's so many, man. Like I said, I wish there was a top. I wish it was a top 15 maybe, but it's like it's really hard because
I would have said it's top 15 because I've struggled.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, but it's really hard, but yeah, Gorgo, representing the UK, so Gorgo's number 5.
Cool. Well, Mr. Daniel Miller, what is your number 5, sir?
At number 5, we're going back in 1966 to the original Ultraman, to the episode Rascal from Outer Space. The kaiju's name is Gango.
Oh, okay.
Now, for those who don't know, Gango is basically what happens when you find a meteorite that grants you wishes, but if you use too many wishes and your ego gets the better of you, basically, Gango is spawned. What I like about Gango is he's not a straightforward he's not a straight up evil character. He's literally just a menace. He's running around causing a ruckus around the hotel, scaring the guests and interrupting bikini photo shoots if you've seen the episode. But yeah, I mean he's really just there having laughs, just enjoying himself while being a nuisance, I mean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to comedy, you can't not have a kaiju just making a complete mockery of everything around him. Come on.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We need human once in a while, as the saying
Yep.
goes. Okay, Big Bad Wolf, what is your number 5, sir?
I will have to go with Yungary. Because aside from Godzilla, that was the second kaiju I discovered, long before I ever discovered what Gamma was. And I'm going to go with the 1966 version, because the fun thing about him is just how he's just a mix of Godzilla and Gamma put together. Because he could breathe fire, his nasal horn could literally slice through buildings, slice projectiles, and even aircraft in half. And there were moments where his roar literally is Gamma's roar. And I thought, I forget what the powder was they put on Yungary. It's like some kind of chemical they put on him that would make it to where it would make it easier to wound him, because it was like that stuff softened up his skin or burnt it to where you could easily wound him.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Yoguri is South Korean?
Yeah, South Korean, and Pogasari is North Korean.
Okay. That's what I was
I've seen Yungari. I've not seen Putbazari. I don't know why. I've had no interest in seeing Putbazari. Yungari I watched and I thought was okay.
Yeah, it's definitely okay when you go back to it now. It's just the design itself and the monster's abilities, and what they did to try to finally kill him was pretty interesting, as you never seen a kaiju literally get taken out just by spreading powder on him.
It says it's a South Korean kaiju.
Yeah, I stated that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Anubis, you're number 5, sir. I'll pull the picture up when you mention him.
Yeah, number 5 is my boy Angirius.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Very underrated. I've been talking about him forever.
Yes.
He gets beat around a lot, but he keeps back. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on coming. Yeah, it's overdue. Yeah, just like you, baby.
Somebody had to say it.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop him?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very cool kaiju, and again, I would like to see him brought back either through Toho or through Monsterverse in some capacity.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see him in another something, because, like I say, he's always been that particular kind of kaiju, and I'm glad he's still around. I'm so glad that he's got the respect that he deserves in time, and it's like, hey, we still love you, even with redesigns and everything. It's like we still got
the thing with Anguillus is he might not be known to modern. So how I look at it, right? You've got the Monsterverse fans who are general audiences and new audiences, and then you've got the regular classic audiences like us. We love them, we respect them. But then there's some in the modern audience from the kaiju versus the Monsterverse. Like, for example, here's a perfect example. I have loved kaiju my whole life. I love kaiju, since I discovered it. I have a nephew who's 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't interested in Godzilla or whatsoever. Then 2014 came out. He then he got into King of the Monsters. The first thing he said to me a few weeks ago was, "Who is Anguillus?" I went, "Let's watch it." And we'll watch Godzilla Raids again. Yes, he was like, it. I can tell it's not modern. It's puppetry. But you know what? The one thing he said to me at the end of that movie, I've got a lot of respect for Anguillus because he fought till the end, and that is a new person that doesn't know the law, the history, but watched the film. That he really, it wasn't his type of film, but he respected the character, which was Anguillus. So what does that tell you?
Planted the seed and it's starting to grow, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
A movement is coming.
Yes. Well, let me give you my number 5, and she's probably the first of the female kaijus, and you probably know who I'm talking about. That's Mothra. Mothra is one of those creatures one of those kaijus that, let's face it, she is so beautiful, so delicate, but you confront her with her babies, she's gonna fuck you up, like any mother. So, and she's been through, and the funny thing is, she has been through quote unquote sex change, because in the Heisei, one of the films, she became male. I was like, okay.
Well, no. She laid an egg, and the egg was born. The egg became Leo Mothra, so she gave birth to
Mothra Leo.
Oh, you're talking about the rebirth of Mothra.
So she didn't have a sex change.
Yeah.
She gave the egg what was born was a male. So she didn't have a sex change.
No.
But if she had, would she have all a fucking about it? But I don't want to. So
you don't want to get with Okay, well, we'll leave that one alone. But that's my number 5. But pushing on, Yulvin.
Ulvin.
Okay.
I'm not being funny. He's never ever once been on my channel.
As much as y'all keep saying the name, I can't get the damn name right. Ulvin, or what is it? Is it O or U?
Ulvin.
It's
Ulvin.
Ulvin.
Okay, Ulvin.
That's it. Ulvin, you got to change your name, bro, because Walter's gonna keep saying it.
Okay, Ulvin.
It's Ulvin.
Okay, Ulvin. What is your number 4, sir?
Is Anguirus.
Okay.
Basically a tank in Godzilla in a sense, because he's that armored shell. I would like to see the idea that you guys have said before, and somebody told me this idea. I don't know if you guys said it or somebody else, about him shooting quills, his like spikes out of his
somebody mentioned it when I did the
anniversary
Kaiju special.
special.
I actually think it was Matt.
Actually, it was
but
me.
I actually like that idea.
In the video game,
it was DJ Nubis.
But I like that idea of
in the video
shooting quills like out. I think it would be a cool idea. Anguirus to me jumps out as a cool character because it was Godzilla's first ally, basically, also.
And foe.
And foe, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Mr. Kevin Lambert, you're number 4.
My number 4. My number 4 would have to be Mecha Godzilla. Like, everybody knows I'm not a big fan of too many duplicates. So, like, Superman's got Bizarro, and the thing I find with Godzilla, you had, Mecha Godzilla's enough, Space Godzilla's enough, then there was talks of a Ghost Godzilla and all this bollocks. The thing with thing with Mechagodzilla. There's just something about him. Hence why he's became a long-standing character. He's lasted longer than Space Godzilla, thank fuck. It's the fact that he can do so much with Space Mechagodzilla. The look in the Showa era was just a menacing robot. Then obviously as it's progressed, they've kind of made him more look like a Gundam or a mecha from, you know, other things. But when it come to Godzilla vs. Kong, they made him look like just a cold-hearted metallic machine, which was inspired by the Terminator, and I loved every minute of it.
It's ironic because the original Mechagodzilla was 10 years before Terminator.
Yes. And they do something similar in that film that the Terminator does
in the final act. Yeah,
that's so weird.
So it's amazing how, like you mentioned, Daniel, how Mechagodzilla, the original concept, come out like in the 90s, like, you know, 70s. Then they released Terminator in the 1980s, and then they both kind of took, you know, like inspire from each other.
yeah.
So the original Mechagodzilla might inspired, obviously, Mr. James Cameron with Terminator. Years down the line, the director and the creator of, obviously, Godzilla vs. Kong, is obviously taking inspiration from Terminator. So in a weird way, the original concept of Mechagodzilla is kind of trickled down the line of creativity, into what we got.
But we've now gone back into a circle. So in Mechagodzilla, T800, Mechagodzilla.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. It seems like everything came in a full circle.
It's crazy how that works. Sci-fi, what is your number 4, sir?
Well, since Matt did a double monster selection, my number 4 picks are King Ghidorah, because he was the first big bad in the Godzilla Toho universe, and Barugan from Gamera versus Barugan, aka War of the Monsters. So
yes,
I picked them both because they're both like first true nemesises of both Godzilla and Gamera. So, and Barugan hardly gets any credit, man, because he was the first foe, first antagonist in the Gamera universe, and that was the first real film that was very serious, had a very serious tone, did not have Gamera being attached to a child or a child spirit or anything like that. That was a very straightforward type of film that was seriously toned. And then, of course, Ghidorah, who was the first big bad, who is Godzilla's nemesis, you know, so that's why I had to add them both in. And you guys already know Ghidorah 300 Monsters is my favorite Godzilla movie, like on number 1 Godzilla movie. So, and I just wanted to add, because it's this like I said, this freaking was so hard, bro. And I went off the cuff to make the quick 10, top 10 list, but there's so many I want to add to a top 20, man. But it's but those are my 2 number 4 like side to side antagonists for my number 4 pick.
And just to add on to that, sci-fi, the fact that I said I could have done 20, but I guarantee you we've been here all damn day. You know, it's like I said, we've been talking.
It would have been forever.
It's like
that 6-hour stream we did.
Yeah, so 10 is enough. We're stretching it, so we'll leave it at that. Mr. Professor, what is your number 4?
Yeah, my number 4, I'd have to go to the original Rodan for the insects, the Mega Neuron, because the whole build up to the Meganeurons, it's very suspenseful and very carefully drawn out, but it's not drawn out too long. You just start off in the pits of the mine. They're looking for a missing miner. After they find a corpse, they suspect foul play. But then the officers are dragged into the depths by this unseen creature. And then when it appears in someone's house, you're like, what the f is that thing? But then it gets even creepier because it's effectively Japan's take on the movie Them with the giant ants. At least up until it's basically spun on its head with the reveal of Rodin's egg in the caldera underground. Then it bursts open and starts eating the Meganeuron. But yeah, the Meganeuron, they were definitely a very frightening addition to a classic kaiju film like Rodin.
But you notice in one particular scene when those two officers are shooting at it,
yeah,
grabs and I'm like grabs him and just like goes down to here. I'm like, it's fast, you know. It's like, damn, he's like, this is a fast bugger here, you know. It's like, okay.
Yeah. That and when they actually bring in the corpses from the mines, you just see the damage just one of these things can do to a person. Now imagine a whole network of them. Yet news to carnage would be insurmountable.
That's a good point. And I know if they were to do it today, it would have to up the ante on the gore factor because they couldn't do it much back then. But
absolutely.
Good point. Okay, well, Big Bad Wolf, number 4, sir. What you got for me?
So this one may also be a double feature for 2 kaiju. Okay. And one in particular is Gigan, because that was the first Godzilla nemesis I was introduced to, as that was my introduction to the franchise.
And the first robot chicken.
Robot chicken. Well, with Gigan, I mean, we have been discussing how unique he's designed and created. I mean, if we look at Gigan, it's like you look at him, there's no other kaiju design like him or any kaiju has ever been inspired by him, even after. Like, you just never seen a kaiju
well, I think Guron inspired him.
Oh, okay.
Might be, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
But it's like with Gigan, he literally walks around, looks like a chicken with pins. I forget what it's called, but it's mandibles. Yeah. He has mandibles at the side, like what most bugs have. He has scythe-like claws, a buzzsaw, and later incarnations had a laser eye. But what's amazing about him is he's the first kaiju that could make Godzilla bleed and literally beat the holy heck out of him in that entire film.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that even buzzsaw angles his face.
Yeah, it makes it, like I say, he's a kaiju that actually made a god bleed. That's kind of interesting.
It's like he was built just to do that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then the second one, this one's a tough one. I couldn't decide between Mechagodzilla or King Ghidorah. But if I had to really choose, I would also have to go with Mechagodzilla.
Is this both your one number?
Yeah, it's a double feature.
Double feature.
And so I'm thinking Mechagodzilla just because he's literally built to be anything that Godzilla isn't. Because we know it's like in Godzilla vs. Kong, he's literally built to be he literally shows like today's audiences like what later generations were. They were Mechagodzilla was always meant to be one step ahead of Godzilla every step of the way. Whatever Godzilla could do, Mechagodzilla had a way to counteract that.
Okay. Well, Anubis, what is your number 4? You just say the name, sir. I'll display him.
One of the most.
I'll be right back, guys. Real quick. I'll be right back.
One of the most evil kaiju out there. At number 4, we have, as John says, Gigan.
Yes.
Gigan, go.
Dude, so, that's a badass design too, right there. I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's great.
Definitely, as John was putting it, he's not. It's a little bit interesting because, despite Ghidorah being like the main villain that Godzilla always fights, it's like Gigan's the one that's the least caring, or he's just like voracious and vicious as hell whenever he fights. Like, you don't care what he's fucking up in the process. Even if he runs into Ghidorah, he's still like, get the fuck out of my way, you fucking long neck bitch.
he is the Terminator of Kaiju. So he's obviously bionic. He's obviously flesh and mechanics. So he literally gets a program to kill.
Yep.
So he literally has no emotion. So
Nope.
it technically is the most dangerous kaiju you would want
Yep.
to see.
Agreed.
In Final Wars, you literally see he was literally enjoying every single minute of it, like when he had got so wrapped up in his grappling hooks and he was dragging him to the buzzsaw. Gigan was just laughing at him as he was dragging him towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely loved Godzilla. Obviously, the animated show Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. Like it gave an extra percentage of the character Gigan. Like he was like Gigan Rex was like the sentient leader, and you had all the drones.
Yeah.
It was just really fun to watch. I just
No, it really is.
Yeah, he's
Like-
literally the kaiju butcher.
mhm.
That's what
So
The God
obviously,
Butcher.
I'm gonna do a video about, my thought on the next film. But Gigan versus Gigan Rex, Gigan Rex versus Godzilla. That, for me, I find very compelling.
Oh, this should be an interesting talk. Well, let me give you my number 4 of what my favorite kaiju, and I don't know if I guess sci-fi. He'll be back when he hears it, but it's gonna tickle his fancy. It's Rodan. Rodan is my top 4, and I mean, why not? I mean, Rodan was that. He was the second underdog in the Showa era. I mean, but I just love his speed. Because he's flying. He's as I can say, he's literally one of the kaiju Superman in the kaiju universe. Because he flies fast. He may not be able to. He actually does leap tall buildings at single bounds. So I mean, but he's not as fast as Superman. But that's beside the point. So,
More powerful than a locomotive.
yeah, or he's very more powerful than a locomotive for sure. So, but we're getting down to the last 3 here. So
I'll see it for you, Walter. Olvin.
Well, I was just about to say,
choice.
Olvin, what is your number 3, sir?
So I'm gonna do something like John and others have done. I'm gonna choose 2.
Okay.
So
Cheaters.
2 for the price of 1.
So my first choice for number 3 is Megalon. Megalon. A kaiju I want to see in the MonsterVerse.
Okay.
Because ever since, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's only had 1 appearance in Godzilla.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the live action film, but obviously he's had his own animated show.
I would like to see the live action short that they did. That design it was really impressive, and I actually like Megalon's design in his debut movie. So I think it would be a cool design for him to do that MonsterVerse version. I mean, I really the design jumps out to me. And then my second choice for the number 3 spot is Jet Jaguar, because Jet Jaguar, I really like how he's a robot. It's designed by humans, because they show it in the movie, and then later he grows into giant size and just fights with Godzilla as his teammate, and I like that aspect of it.
Jet Jaguar.
Nice.
I love the Jet Jaguar theme.
Yeah, I do
My
too.
balls have just deflated.
Yes. Well, since we mentioned Kevin, what is your number?
He said his balls just deflated.
Oh no.
Well, what's your number? What is your number 3, Kevin? Because since your balls have deflated.
Wait, I'll say it for you, Kevin. I'll say it for you, Kevin. Fucking idiot.
Fucking idiots.
Oh, he froze on my end. Oh, everybody's frozen.
So, mine would be Anguillus.
Okay.
Good pick.
He is the ultimate underdog. We've just celebrated his anniversary. There's nothing more to say. He's a machine with a shell on his back that won't give up. He's the friend you would like on your, to defend you. Love him.
Sci-fi. Sci-fi. What's your number 3?
Number three's got to be the one and only Guardian of the Universe, Gamera, man. So yeah, I had to put Gamera up there. I saw Gamera versus Zigra first, and at first I was like, "Who the hell is this?" Like I think I was like 8 or 9, and I saw it, and I was like, "Okay, well, At first I wasn't really intrigued, but then I gave myself the chance, and I saw the whole movie, and I loved it. I loved Gamera. Zigra was the first one I wanted to add Zigra, but it was only a 10. It was only a top 10. So, but yeah, it was.
Apparently, you could have doubled up.
Well, no, I just wanted to do that. I mean, because Gamera is also another staple. He first started off as a Godzilla, clone wannabe, but he ended up getting his, creating this buzz and has his own fan base. Separated himself as far as being, a Godzilla wannabe. So now he's set a standard too, and he's already set in stone as his own kaiju and as an icon also. And it wasn't that far. Still in the Showa era, came out in '65. So I had to give my credit where credit's due. Of course, when I first saw him in my favorite Showa film, which is Gamera versus Barugan, aka War of the Monsters, and especially the Heisei era was freaking amazing, man. Heisei era was just top notch. Kaiju films and got Gamera versus Gamera, the Guardian of the Universe, Gamera versus Legion, Gamera versus Gamera, Revenge of Iris, and he's an icon, man. He's up there too, man. So anybody who mentions any of the top kaiju films is gonna mention Gamera, dude. If they don't, then they're not true fans. So that's how I see it.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that.
Damn.
Professor, what is your number 3?
At number 3, I'm going with Biollante.
Nice.
Now, what I like about Biollante is it's not just a straightforward plant monster. It's much deeper than that in the sense that not only does it have Godzilla cells, but it also has Dr. Shirogami's own daughter's cells, Erica cells, fused in there. Because keep in mind, it's a very human-centric story, I think, Godzilla vs. Biollante, and having Erica be part of the kaiju rival of the movie does add a sort of tragic and ex-human spin on the kaiju. The design itself, from both the rose form, is a very beautiful but also a very sinister form as well. It's also an unnerving one, especially when you have the teeth in the center of all the rose petals. The final design, it's an absolute beast. A crocodile mouth with nothing but teeth and basically like a Venus flytrap, but with teeth on the end of it. And all these tendrils with, again, they're like Venus flytraps, where they all just grapple and snap and snarl.
That's right, Anubis. Stop showing off. You've got a
Wait and
fucking
speaking of,
Biollante.
you think you're the only one, Anubis? You think you're the only one? Think again, buddy.
Yeah.
I think his is bigger than mine. That's what she said.
They'll always be
Kill it,
bigger.
motherfucker.
Oh look, he's even got the
There you go.
Tremash ones with legs.
Yeah.
God damn.
You know what
Yep.
That
that
must be
means.
that's
You know
like the
what that
ghetto
means.
version
It
right
means
there.
I'm gonna have to spend fucking $400 on a
Yep.
fucking Biollante because I don't have one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. Because even I got the one that Sci-Fi has. So
Yep. I'm still perplexed by the
Ooh.
fact that Trendmaster gave Biollante legs.
I mean, I never understood.
And
that.
this one was able to scream too.
Nice.
Oh,
Ooh, fancy.
Well, I can scream.
okay, where did that come from? All right. Well,
Let's continue before I keep freezing.
No spank you, Kevin. No spank you, Kevin. No spank
would you say, Big Bear? Would you say something's freezing?
Yeah, I think I'm freezing on everyone's end.
Oh, okay. Well, I
There you
mean,
go.
well, we can hear you. We can see you. What's your number 3?
So I will say, I mean, sci-fi, and Anubis said before, you can't have a list that including these two on there. That's Rodan and Anguirus. They are literally Godzilla sidekicks.
Okay.
Once enemies turn friends. I mean, Anguirus gave Godzilla the fight of his life, and then Rodan put up a good fight, and even dropped Godzilla on his crotch on a power line. But at the end of the day,
Damn right.
one thing I do like is in the comics, Rulers of Earth, it actually touches up on that friendship. As there was a moment when Godzilla literally used Anguirus as a flail to take out an entire army of Mechagodzillas. Then Mecha King Ghidorah, and at the end of the day, Godzilla's wore out because he's doing all of the work. And
But
Anguirus
the
just
thing
looks
is,
at
you need to take out the comics because not everybody knows the comics.
No, that's true.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I forgot to use that as an example of how it's really brought up the friendship. Because after the battle,
Yeah.
Anguirus mocks Godzilla for being tired.
Yeah. Yeah, and Anguirus actually rips off one of the Mechagodzilla's arms with his freaking jaw.
And he also forced Destroyer to retreat.
Yeah.
Yep, he forced Destroyer to retreat. He beat Destroyer with a little bit of help from the humans, but he beat Destroyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Anubis, what's your number 3, sir? And I think people are
If
ready.
you would have
well, I
asked
already
me
know.
30 years ago, if this kaiju would have been in my top 10, I probably would have said no, but I've really grown to love it a lot over the last couple of years. And really, the professor nailed a lot of the points that I would have brought up. But at number 3, I agree. Biollante is one that would be there. Fantastic kaiju with a lot of different possibilities. And it's why I've been pushing, even before Empire, I was pushing for Biollante to kind of make an appearance in the MonsterVerse because I think she would fit with some of their eco plot-driven devices that they have in there. But now with -1, again, there's a possibility that she could actually be one to consider as far as like a villain to Godzilla or hero, depending on where Godzilla in -1 chooses to go as far as personality. But fantastic kaiju has to be there.
Yeah. And the fact that
Agreed.
she has been, like I say, the fact that it took time for her to really grow on people, it makes you realize why she's such a standout kind of kaiju. Because, like, yeah, I mean, and I have to say, she unfortunately didn't make my top 10, but she is on the list of, further down. Yeah, I know. But
the thing with, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I want to hear what you said.
I was going to say, despite her, she's made one film appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, despite her making one film appearance, it's the being that she is and what she represents that is a standout for not just her or fans, but anybody that likes environments and all that crap, and anything to do with Earth, saving Earth, ecosystem. She is that embodiment. So,
And I want
That's
to
true. I mean, she's a lot like the Earth pushing back on Godzilla, who is born out of atomic, radiation. So it's kind of a neat little balance.
And I want to add on to what Kevin's saying is that because, like I say, what Professor said, she is kind of a now. In fact, she's not kind of. She is a very tragic kaiju. Someone had did a updated version of her origin tale, and it's far more in terms of like disturbing, but it does hint at what this particular kaiju is, and it's set in America.
Shelter 54.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. That to
seen
me is so disturbing, but it still hints on what it's because they do not exclude what it is. It's part plant, part human, and part of Godzilla. But it's still based in the fact that it is still a female. And I'm just like, it's disturbing. If they were able to actually do a revisit on that in the Monsterverse or in -1, I would say go with that route because it is so like gripping. It's so sad on how her tale is told, But
yeah, it's also
and
really
I just
good
wanted to add
to.
I'm sorry, first. I was gonna say something real quick. Her design, her second form and design was actually when I first saw it when I was about maybe 12 or 13, was kind of like very impressive and very intimidating at the same time. When you see something that big coming at you, in the way she was, digging through digging through the earth, and she just running at you, it was like, holy shit! I'm a fearless man, and I will fucking run. Like I'd be fucking running. Like that's that. Her design was very like she looked very vicious, like very intimidating. I just want to say that.
No, but what you was gonna say, Professor?
Yeah, with the Shelter 54 animation, I really do like how they took the human characters, that being Erica and Dr. Shirogami. They're not completely negated or thrown out. They're still integral to Biolante's plotline, but the way in which they're related in the dynamic of the story is a very interesting and welcome change.
Yes. That's the thing about and that's a tell point about the ones we're talking about is that something about it is something integral that we find that is kind of really what base of why we're so attracted or what affects us about them. And that's the reason why I wanted to do this list, because it's not just, okay, the favoritism of other fans. It's like, what personally do you feel and what do you see from these different monsters, we see, how they affect us in some kind of way, whether we hate them or like them, there's something down the line. It's like, okay, this is the reason why. We know that the story behind them has that, strength to be this longevity that they have now, But given to my number 3, it is, Oven mentioned him earlier, which was Megalon. Okay. Megalon is definitely up on my number 3. And let's face it, he was the first nemesis that I saw fight Godzilla along with Jet Jaguar and Gigan. And like I say, I could not have this particular kaiju, not have him on this list, because if I did have him, they'd be like, you got this particular kaiju, but you don't have this kaiju on here. So, but moving on to all that, because we're down to the number 2s. We're wrapping it up because we're past 2 hours here. I'm like, damn, I didn't think it was going to go that long.
It's 10 past 11.
True. Oven, what is your number 2, sir? Favorite kaiju.
My number 2 pick is this character right here in Mothra.
All right.
I gotta give a shout out to Anthony Jordan because I know it's one of his favorite kaijus also.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of you are aware, but that's just one of his favorite kaijus. But Mothra is the queen of the moths. I really like Mothra's introduction, how it is introduced in the Godzilla's final per se movie before -1, where he is an antagonist in the movie where Mothra debuts in the Godzilla franchise. But I like the design of Mothra. I like how it's somebody that characters look to, and I like how Mothra is an ally to Godzilla and a friend and a compadre that teams up against Ghidorah and other kaiju that want to attack and invade Earth.
Yeah, that's his side chick, believe it or not.
Sidekick, yeah.
Yes. No, side chick, not sidekick.
Side
I think you
chick.
said side chick.
Yes. Kevin, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm just double checking with what I've got here.
Okay.
I've meant mine would have to be Biollante.
Okay.
I think she's the mother of Earth when it comes to the kaiju. Yes, she made only one cinematic appearance, but her spirit, what she represents is bigger. And she's always there in, the world of the fans. And I think when it came to Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire, they missed the mark. I generally think, we got a fucking ape is the antagonist. They should have done something bigger, more epic. But hoo-ho, we got what we got. And Biollante should have been the antagonist. Her is a character in all. She represents Earth. But if they do another interpretation of her, like Anubis said in, like, say, the -1 sequel, they need to do her justice. And if the director of -1, I know he will. If it comes to the Monsterverse, the way they're going with Supernova, that title, she potentially could still be involved.
Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I just hope, as I told someone else, I just hope this film has teeth, because, and not the sense of literal teeth, but teeth in terms of you better make sure that the big bad is very firm.
It needs my teeth.
Yes. Okay. Sci-fi. What is your number 2, sir?
I gotta go with the armored underdog, and that's Anguirus, man. Godzilla's homie. Godzilla's ride or die. Yeah, man. I mean, I kind of related a lot to Anguirus, because I was kind of the small guy, always fighting off the fucking bully bitches that when I was younger, and I always had kind of a never say die attitude, and I mean, of course, I didn't notice it more until I got older, when I saw it in more of the films again. And even when I was younger, Anguirus just intrigued me because he was smart, strong, a little smaller, but he's tenacious, vicious when he has to be. He'd have to literally be almost dead for him to quit. And and when I just saw that when I saw Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, when he's very agile, very fast, and freaking he gored Mechagodzilla, in one of the scenes, and he knocked Mechagodzilla back. Yep. And just the tenacity, man, just the never say die attitude, the warrior spirit, the Bushido, the warrior spirit, the way of the warrior, and that's how I see Anguirus, man. Just he's my number 2 aside from non-Godzilla, other kaijus in general. So,
but that's a good thing, knowing that Anguirus is going to be one of those kaijus. Just like say, hey, you can push me down, but I'm going to get back up, regardless. Yes,
Mr. Right. Jedi Groundale, just 1 second.
Yes,
I'm just gonna go off camera and off mic for a few minutes. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, go for it, man.
We understand. Yes, I know, because it's we won't say it on camera, but it's something going on. But Professor, you're number 2, sir.
My number 2, Rodan.
All right.
Yeah.
You just made someone happy there.
Now, when it comes to the kaiju, Rodan is hands down the king of the skies. From his debut in 1956, he is outmaneuvered the air defense force. He is completely decimated Fukushima, I think it was, when he landed in the original film. It's just complete devastation, and that's just with the sheer wind gusts that he's generated from his wings. Throughout the Showa era, he's definitely become more of an ally to Godzilla, and even in Astro Monster, he was the underdog in that movie. If everyone says Anguirus is the underdog in Godzilla vs. Gigan and to an extent Mechagodzilla, then Rodan was the underdog in the fight in Invasion of Astro Monster. It's interesting how they've reinvented Rodan in the Heisei era, being this sort of half sibling to the Godzilla species, and even sacrificing himself to give Godzilla his spiral heat ray, which he uses to decimate Mechagodzilla. The Monsterverse interpretation is an interesting one, how he's described as this fire demon that ancient civilizations have worshipped, which is an interesting spin on the kaiju, definitely. And Rodan is definitely a fan favorite because of his maneuverability, his speed, and also when he's in combat, he strikes fast. It's like the mantra of Cobra Kai, which is strike. I don't remember if it's correctly like this, but it's strike hard, strike fast, along those lines.
Strike first, yeah.
That's it.
No mercy.
Nice.
That's right.
Right.
And fun fact, Rodan's little screech or roar within the Monsterverse is pretty much his actual roar in reverse, because they want to give it a more avian quality.
That's right.
Cool. Well, Big Bad, what is your number 2?
That would be the Guardian of the Universe himself, Gamera. I mean, upon discovering him at the age of 7, I never thought I'd see a giant turtle with tusks that breathes fire, fighting other monsters, but I digress. And just seeing how everything is with Gamera, I mean, Kevin said it best. The Heisei era definitely really helped bring him up there. Definitely made him up there with what he is. I mean, the Heisei era is definitely my favorite because I loved the story. The characters were fantastic. The way they always designed Gamera over and over was great. And also the monsters, too. They brought in Legion and Iris, Iris was definitely a very unique villain for Gamera because it was almost like no matter what Gamera did, Iris could just absorb and blow it back at him. So Gamera had to literally think on his feet when it came to Iris. And of course, Gamera Rebirth really helped combine Showa and Heisei and put them together. But at the end of the day, I would like Heisei better just because of how they did everything overall.
Yeah. Okay. Well, going on to Anubis, brother, let's get your number 2, sir.
Well, obviously, I'm pretty sure this one showed up in everyone's top 10, but without a doubt, the biggest villain that Godzilla faces and a legend in his own right is, of course, King Ghidorah at number 2.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
The Golden Destroyer. The Golden Destroyer.
The King of Terror.
Like I say, destroyer of worlds. Yes. I mean, how could you not have him on? I mean, I'll put it like this: if you could have him down on number 20 of the list, it's like we're on 20. It's like you would have to have him somewhere in the top 10. I mean, this is not possible for him not to be.
It's kind of funny because when I go back to Samurai's and Lady Fabulous reaction video, right? So a lot of
orgasmic video.
Yeah, the oohs and ahs from Fab Blood when Mothra is there a little bit, but then seeing the shadow of Ghidorah in the clouds, like she's just like, oh, it's like in awe, and like that's the thing, like kaiju fans, like in general, we love all the creatures that we have in our list, but when it comes to Ghidorah, there's just like a separate, like a set of appreciation that we give for that particular kaiju. And as Sentry put it, he's like the destroyer of worlds. Like he's like a force to be reckoned with. And 9 times out of 10, Godzilla's always going to need some sort of assistance to take him down because he's just that powerful.
Yeah.
The thing with the Monsterverse is they could have made the Monsterverse as big as Marvel, but I feel like they shot the load too fast. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
2 films,
I
3
say that all
films
the
in,
time.
they went, right, we're going to give them Ghidorah. Fans
Yep.
went in the theatre and were like, well, who the fuck's Ghidorah?
Yeah.
Where if we
Yeah.
we are fans, we adore a Ghidorah because we know the history.
Yeah.
But don't forget, I guarantee there will be general Marvel fans that who would have went, who the fuck is Thanos?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know him. I didn't know him
And
at
then
that time.
as they build it up, like, I want to know who Thanos is. He sounds wicked. He sounds dangerous. He sounds like, oh, I'm terrified. But didn't get that build up with Ghidorah. Where we're like, second film, block of ice, wakes from the ice, dead by the end of the film. Where if they had played it right, it would have been like the end of King of the Monsters should have been we see him in ice. Maybe the next film we're seeing a flicker that he's awakening from the ice. Then the next film he breaks out of the ice. The film after has a double team up with Kong and Godzilla against Ghidorah.
I think a lot of it though is I don't think they really knew how it was going to do. Like I think that's part of it. So Doherty probably came into it thinking, well, if they never do anything beyond this, we'll just make sure we throw everything in the oven and say, fuck it, let's just go all in. Because, not knowing. Now, in hindsight, they could say, we should have fucking waited for Ghidorah. We should just put him last. But that's why now, like, when we go for the next Godzilla film, like, you got to be able to top what you did before. Obviously, the last film was more Kong-oriented. But this one, if you're making Godzilla your main staple, the baddie has got to be somebody that could be up there with Ghidorah. So whether it's Destroya, if you think Hedorah is going to be it, fuck Hedorah. Or if you think Biollante should be the one, then that's where you need to go with that direction. It has to be somebody who can compete with Godzilla similar to that level that Ghidorah does.
And the weird thing is...
It's probably going to be, though, somebody like Ghidorah or Destroyer or Space Godzilla, but it isn't going to be them unless Legendary are willing to cop up the money and go, right, I'm willing to pay for the license, imagery of King Ghidorah or, sorry, not King Ghidorah, Biollante or Space Godzilla, and know they're going to make a profit. They'll pay the extra 2-3 million, whatever it costs, on top of the cost for the film, or they'll go, we don't need them. We can make our own monsters, which the only one that, like, I'm not going to lie, I really like the Skull Crawlers, but outside the Skull Crawlers, Beemo is the only one I've fucking, like, can honestly say I've adored. So when it comes to villains in the next film, they're basically gonna have to go and spend the money and buy Destroyer or Space Godzilla, Gigan, which will probably cost 5-6 million before they even hit production, or they just say, fuck it, we'll make our own monster.
Which they might do. They might do.
And they'll probably make it a combination of two other Toho monsters.
Go ahead.
You know what? And we were talking about this yesterday. That I mentioned that to me, King Ghidorah was the only real threat in the entire MonsterVerse. Like, I think King Ghidorah was the only one that took Godzilla to the brink. And even Kevin mentioned that Godzilla literally had to power up. And so he's been powered up in so many unnatural ways that I just think in my mind that Ghidorah was that was the money shot. That was a
yeah.
But it's like but I just think like it's I mean, who can you? Mechagodzilla was great, but they still had to connect Ghidorah to Mechagodzilla. So they really gotta sell their asses, and Legendary's gotta really sell their asses and perk up those fucking cheeks, dude, and take it in the ass to buy the licenses to some of the Toho monsters and do something, because they honestly, before I pass it on back to Jedi, I gotta say this, man. Shimo and Behemoth and maybe a few other legendary original kaijus were great. The Titans were great, but if they already did Shimo, so Shimo's like at the top right now. But how can you do that? How can they do something original like Shimo? Because Shimo was really the only threat when we actually got an actual monkey who was the Scar King, who actually looked like a goddamn monkey. Because he was skinny, he was just unintimidating. So that's just my
King
take.
Louis from fucking Jungle Book.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but see, and the thing about it's funny you bring that up, Sci-Fi, because the thing is, I've actually seen some artwork where it has Godzilla and Kong getting approached by King Ghidorah in shadow. And it's like, and this is before King of the Monsters, and it's like, I wish they could have gone that route, because it's almost like it's kind of like what Kevin said. And think if they just, unloaded their load so quickly that they don't realize, like, okay, you may not realize that people may not know these characters, but give it a chance to build it up, and then unload your load onto the world, and then it's like, yes, we got Kong and Godzilla going against a baddie. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I think the way they ended King of the Monsters, they shot the load very fast. That end scene where you see Ghidorah's head, I think they left that open for Ghidorah to come back, and they've done that before they even went into Godzilla versus Kong. And I generally believe, but when the feedback come back, no one's buying Ghidorah, no one's buying Mothra, no one's buying Rodan, the film's flop because of, all that crap. They were like, we'll just scrap that storyline in potential of bringing Ghidorah back. We'll go with this Mecha Godzilla idea. But because they went with that, it's kind of fucked over the idea of how you're going to bring King Ghidorah back.
Well, until then, we'll find out where it goes with that. But my number 2, and this might pleasure some people, my number 2, believe it or not, and I was kind of surprised because it was kind of, it's going to give someone a good heart on here. My number 2 is Varan.
Yes.
Yes, number 2 is Varan. And the reason why is, even though this particular kaiju doesn't have any special powers, at least not in the Showa era.
I know his number 1 is now.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'll look. I'm going to unload on the world when we get to it. But
I'm blamed.
Varan is a triple threat because he's both a land, sea, and air animal. And I love the fact that when you're a tri-amphibian type of creature, that to me shows a much more depth in terms of what kind of menace this individual is. And honestly, he was not meant to be so much of a villain. He was just like misunderstood. But of course, he's living in the human world, and humans gotta say, you gotta destroy him. He's a threat to humanity. It's like, okay, we can't coincide with one another. Well, if that's the case, then I'm gonna try to take you suckers out. But that's my number 2. Okay. So, okay, who's that? All right, we're down to the final count here, and we are really going here. I'm like, I didn't expect it to go this long, but that's good. I love this. Okay, number 1.
He said.
Yep. Okay. number one, Oven. What is your number
Yeah,
one?
you got it right. Holy shit.
I know. Can you believe it? I didn't think it was
Golf
possible.
3
clap,
hours
golf clap.
later.
Golf clap.
My number one is Gamera.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
I know you said. I mean, if Godzilla was the choice, it would probably been Godzilla in that slot.
Right.
So, but Gamera is to what me. Gamera stands out to me. I really love Gamera. I saw my introduction, in fact, to Gamera is the original Gamera movie, where he is freed from the iceberg, ice age era, I guess. But Gamera is a really cool kaiju. I like how it's a turtle, and I like how Gamera can fly, and he can hide it. He can hide in his shell and probably be safe from attacks. I mean, there's endless opportunities they can do with Gamera. Entertainment Headquarters and Kevin has said before that Gamera. I hope they do a movie possibly with Dai. I would like to see a new trilogy, maybe some new designs.
Okay. Well, we'll probably be there later, sir.
But I want to see where they do go with Gamera. I would like to see Gamera in -1's third movie if they do a third movie.
It's got to be a lot of legal bull that they got to go through.
You've got more chance than me sucking.
They'd make so much bank though. Like
Not
they need to
happening.
talk to me. They would make so much bank off that.
Yeah. Wait, what about Godzilla versus Gong versus Gamera?
Oh man,
Fuck the monkey. He doesn't need any more film. Fuck that monkey.
like, shock the monkey.
The differences between America and Japan is America will suck each other's dick, and Japan, they've got more respect. You've got to go through more rapping to get to the dong than just straight to the sucking.
Okay. Well, since let's. Oh, Kevin, what is your number one? Because I can't come back from what you just said.
Well,
You definitely can when it's in your mouth.
since everybody's talking about how they can have two is a one,
Okay.
my two at my number one is Gigan and King Ghidorah.
All right. Nice.
The deadly
I've
duo.
seen them do a team up in Godzilla, versus Gigan. Gigan on his own, amazing. In Ghidorah on his own is amazing.
Yeah.
In Godzilla versus Gigan, not much is amazing. But them two is, for me, they're the definitive bad guys. I absolutely love King Ghidorah. Absolutely love Gigan. I would love to see Gigan be given the Monsterverse treatment, but I'm also worried, is he going to just be bitched out instead of be given the proper treatment? Like I say, the Monsterverse shot the load too fast with King Ghidorah.
Yes.
Who knows? But
The good
these
news
two,
is if the Monsterverse goes with Gigan, it actually will probably do better in terms of a story for Gigan, because in the Monsterverse, again, they had so many kaiju that they had to try to make screen time for all of them. So it wasn't like just Godzilla versus Ghidorah. They had Rodan and Mothra, and then all these other new ones. With this one, if they just go strictly Kong, Godzilla, and Gigan, I think it'll work out a little bit better because there's not so much to worry about outside of that.
See, I agree with that, but no, that's not the road they're going to go down. And the reason I say that is they need to sell toys.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make merchandise. They need to make money. So let's face it, before even it was
That means
announced,
our new hero is going to be Suko.
precisely. Speaking of Suko, I was going to just say, before it was even announced, who would have expected Suko in the trailer? We got a Suko. So they were clearly trying to capture a younger audience. So the more the MonsterVerse goes down, are they focused on great story or general Kaiju fans, or are they trying to make merchandise and go down the Disney route and sell a ride at a ticket for a ride?
Yeah.
Well, never know. It can happen. Well, Sci-Fi, what is your number one, sir?
Pretty sure you guys can guess, man, and that's the only one true terror of the skies, and that is Rodan, the fire demon, the first that was ever considered kaiju that was a terror, the true terror of the skies. And
Totally
I was,
shocked.
I was kind of, yeah. I was kind of at an impasse because I was kind of like, maybe should I do Anguirus and Rodan as number one? But I was like, no, well, Rodan. The reason why I'm choosing Rodan is because Rodan already made it to Hollywood and he came out in King of the Monsters 2019, and his new design was, I mean, come on, man. We all remember his opening scene in King of the Monsters was fucking priceless, dude. It was fucking amazing. Brought back some of that Showa era style theatrics, and it's just. And then going on to the Showa era, man. His own film. He has his own film, so. Like Anubis said, like, and everybody here that believes, like, it's very kind of, it's a very serious tone movie with horror aspects and with a tragic ending, which makes it one of the better Toho films and one of my favorite Toho films. And Rodan just like he's kind of done it all, man. He's been serious, he's been vicious, he went toe to toe with Godzilla, freaking lifted up Godzilla like nothing, threw him down to the ground. Freaking knocked him over with his wings. Freaking has done everything. He's faced Godzilla, and yes, and he's done. I don't think it's something he's underrated. It's just that his role in the Showa era kind of went, straight to, like Professor was saying, into a sidekick or allied type of stance. So. That's or role. So that's why I see him that, and he's done it all, man. He's been, like I said, he's been goofy, he's been funny, he's been, he's been seen as, especially in 2004's Final Wars, where he came out kind of like being just very fast, very rapid. He's been in video games, he's been in arcade games back in the 90s. He's
Comics.
He's done it all, man. In the Heisei era, I'm just, dude. I'm a huge fan. You guys already know that. And Rodan is a staple. He's also an icon in the Toho universe. And I had to put him as my number one. We already know who all our number one is, pretty much. But Rodan has to take it, and that's it, bro. He's the terror, the first true terror of the skies, and that's Rodan, my number one.
All right, then. Well, Mr. Professor, give me your number one, brother.
And
the number one kaiju is
Varan.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
What in the
fuck! Oh man! Holy shit!
This is
no way, man! No fucking way! Whoa!
I never imagined that.
Ron is number one for me because design-wise, it's simple, yet it's very distinctive at the same time. You have this Komodo dragon-esque creature with this thick hide going on. Then you also have these dragon-like spikes going along the back. his first film, he's really played not so much as this product of radioactive fallout or this creature that's been hiding in silence for millions of years. He's this what's called the Baradagi Sanjin in the Japanese version of the original film, which is this mountain god that dwells in this small body of water near this isolated village. So there's already a bit of a tribal and even ritualistic relationship between the inhabitants and Varan, who is seen as this god, this ruler of a time that's been forgotten. And in his first rampage sequence, the destruction sequence, it's quite visceral and very well done, especially the final act at Haneda Airport, where Varan, he's just literally charging into buildings, and if you notice, he's actually tearing things apart, just ripping whole buildings to pieces. Now, if Varan were to do that in battle, say against Godzilla or Anguirus, he would just completely eviscerate his opponent. It would just be shreds or scrap metal if he were going up against a mecha. He was given a pretty decent treatment in the game Godzilla Unleashed, where not only was he given a beam to make him on equal level with Godzilla and the other characters that had beam attacks, but actually used his body
I'll be right back, guys.
to great effect. Yeah, and actually used the spikes on his body to greater effect in battle. And I'm wondering that if they do manage to get him into the MonsterVerse, they should have a backstory to Varan where he's this sort of forgotten titan that had his own civilization, his own followers, but he's been living so far down to the earth, even further than Hollow Earth, if that's even possible, that he wasn't even triggered by Ghidorah's mass awakening. And when he comes up to the surface finally, it's literally hell on earth. There's this vicious creature that no one can control. He's just tearing everything to shreds left and right. Then when Godzilla comes in, he's more or less pushed to the limit.
Right.
I think it would be interesting is if they made him a rival to Rodan.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
You and Anubis actually discussed
Yeah,
that at one point,
yeah, we
didn't
talked
you?
about that.
Walter, my good friend, my good Gerald Granville, I am going to have to leave if that's okay.
That's fine, brother.
I've had some news, so I need to go. So I love you all. Take care, and
Take care, buddy.
I'll catch
Take
up
care.
with you in a bit. So
Hope all is
sorry
well.
I have to leave the stream, but
Not a problem.
Go
Well,
ahead.
like I say, take care of your business, and we love you, and God bless.
Family is important.
Exactly.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care,
you for
my
being.
friends.
Thank you for being on, though. That's what's.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me. Thank you for me allowed to be a part of this. So
All right. We'll see you later, though.
I love you, brothers, and catch you later.
Love
See
you
you
too,
later,
man. See you around.
See you there. Yes.
Then there was 6.
Yeah. It's a long story, but we'll discuss it later. Big Bad Wolf. What is your number one?
Oh, sorry, you guys were freezing up, so I couldn't hear what you said, but you asked me what my
it's-
number 1 is.
Yeah, your
Number one pick. What's your number one
Yeah.
pick?
So I feel like every list should include him in some way. Actually, first off, I'll try to give off my honorable mentions.
Okay.
So the first honorable mention, Biolante. She's just very unique. Her film was pretty much a very thought-provoking film, and I would like to see more of that in a kaiju and even in any kaiju film. Biolante, I would like to see more thought provocation. And Anubis has said it best, she could be a major threat in the MonsterVerse if they did her right. Rob Asada on ETN actually did his own pitch for a MonsterVerse movie with Biolante in it, and it has her being a major threat, and then it has Destroyer being a herald to Biolante.
Okay.
And then number 2 will be Hedorah, because before Gigan, Hedorah came the closest to killing Godzilla, because he almost not only drowned Godzilla in sludge, but you actually see it was actually eating off his flesh.
Right.
And so Godzilla was in there long enough, he'd be nothing but bones.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think his left or right hand was like close to the bone.
Like
Yeah.
it was so close to where you were seeing his bones.
Yeah.
And then number 3, it will have to be Gaius.
Oh yes, Guy. Okay.
Because I feel like Gaius has always been the Joker to Gamma's Batman. Gaius is just always causing Gamma trouble, no matter what incarnation comes out. Gaius is always a part of it. Gaius is literally just it's just that nightmare that never seems to let Gamma be left alone.
Right.
But number 1, I feel like if you list should include him in some way, because without him, none of this would be possible, and that is the Rhedosaurus from the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
All right.
I just liked his design. It's very unique. I like he's pretty much so much part of him is pretty much Komodo dragon as well as to it. So I asked another friend of mine who knows a lot about lizards. I said, what other design do you think you could be inspired by? And someone mentioned a Tuatara, which is a reptile, which funny thing enough, they're not lizards. They're their own thing. But one thing that's so interesting is that his blood has virus that made people get sick.
Yes.
That's right.
And so it was like, if you shot him, you better make sure there's no people in that city. Otherwise, everyone is going to get sick and die. It was like, not only was he dangerous because of his size and his ferocity and the fact he was literally eating people, but because if you injured him, you're pretty much dooming more of the population than what's already been destroyed. Yeah. And so he was so unique, and without him, there would be no Godzilla. Even though Kong is also to be given the definition, without him, Godzilla would not be what he is now.
Yes.
And without Godzilla, there would be no kaiju revolution that happened.
And it's funny. It's something we mentioned before. The full circle of things, or should I say, the circle of life in the kaiju universe seems to affect everything else. And that particular kaiju did affect Godzilla, and so Godzilla will affect everything else. So
and that monster and the Rhedosaurus is still, or I should say, the film, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, is still given the credit for being what started the entire movement.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a great thing. Well, Anubis, you're number 1, sir. So hit us with what you got, brother.
So yeah, we talked about King Ghidorah and how powerful a villain he is, and like how hard it is for kaiju in general to compete against him. But we did learn, even though we don't have a lot of information, backstory on this particular kaiju, it did show that this is probably the actual kaiju that put Ghidorah in ice to begin with. And at my number 1, it's something that Kevin brought up, and that's Shimo.
Yes.
She's incredibly strong. She didn't really get to display all the type of stuff she can do in Empire, but we did see that if Godzilla had not been powered up as much as he was, she would have put him on ice. Like, that's how tough she is. And I like the whole concept that she's like this ancient titan. So she's like, at least in the Monsterverse, one of the birth kaiju that are out there. So like, it's kind of cool to see that. And I would love to see more from her, but I'm hoping they don't kill her off in the next film. I'm kind of hoping she's just not there or something. I don't know, but I'd rather not see her die out.
And that's the thing I'm kind of concerned myself. It's like, yes, I mean, she's a tough bird, but
Speaking
it's like,
of kaiju,
little kitty cat.
But I agree. But I agree with DJ Nubis. It's Shimo, right? So
yeah.
Sorry, I had to go do stuff, but yeah. Man, Shimo's too powerful, man. Like, if Godzilla couldn't do anything with his atomic breath, and he struggled against her power and her strength and her size, and I think with Kong and with the other primates, the giant apes, I think she'll be well protected, and she's very vulnerable. I mean, she's very durable, strong, powerful. Like, I don't think she'll die, bro. I mean, if anything, Kong will need her to be there in the Hollow Earth, in Because I think just this is just a theory. I won't keep it too long because I know you're going 3 hours. I think that now that Kong's there, they're gonna, all of the apes are gonna be able to come up to the surface of the. They're gonna come up further to the surface of the Hollow Earth, right. And they'll be able to get more of the light. Their hair will grow back. They'll put bulk on because they'll have legit food. Shimo will be able to think. Will be able to be out there in the Hollow Earth now, and I think with Kong there, I mean, we can't underestimate Kong, dude, because Kong has the axe, dude, and he's a beast with that axe. So, right. I just think I don't think they'll kill her off, but yeah, I gotta admit that Shimo is one of the best parts of the new Godzilla X Kong, and she's a fan favorite for me. Like I'm a fan, like I'm a straight up fan of Shimo. So I just want to throw that out there.
No, cool. That's the thing, and I'm just I guess, and I would say that whoever they get for Supernova, like I say, it's got to be a total threat towards Shimu. I mean, Shimu, because the simple fact is she's that tough. She's that baddie. It's got to be something so life threatening that it's got to be threatening to her and everybody else, but especially to her because she's so tough, as we've seen. So it's like. We don't know. I mean, we'll.
This thing about me making her stand up on her hind legs.
Well, and she can do that when she has to get really aggressive with certain things, But with my number one, y'all probably already know this, so I'm not gonna announce it. I'm just gonna show it.
Suko.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's Suko in the robot suit.
Well, you never know. I mean, he's probably ready to do whatever, in that suit, and he could do a couple of things that we're not going to mention here. But, but Jet Jaguar, what can I say? Me and Anubis talked about him recently on a podcast, and as I mentioned, Jet Jaguar he was one of the first of the kaijus I've ever seen in movie form, and he's somebody who's like that other kaiju in Geras, gets knocked down but gets right back up. And even though this was only it's not really his first appearance. I mean, it's his first appearance. It's not his only appearance. Recently, they've done the anniversary shorts. And he's in 2 shorts, and I gotta admit, the last one they did, I got emotional with that one. I wasn't expecting to get emotional when I saw what happens, in that film. But it shows how that particular kaiju grew on me, and you realize how much an effect it really is. It shows that yes, he's gonna get because in Megalon he's getting fucked up like relentlessly. I mean. Yep. Megalon shoots him out of the sky. Then gun pretty much just stabbing him with his claws. It's like, but he's like, hey, he's relentless. He's gonna get back up. He's gonna do what he has to do. I mean, yes, you can beat all on me all you want to, but I'm still coming for you. So that's just
one thing I really liked about him. You and I were talking about when we did our spotlight on him is that, and I didn't really think about this till we did it. Was like he's actually one of your earliest versions of AI taking effect. Yes. Yeah. And so. I think that's just an amazing piece because that was like the 70s when that film came out. So it's like they were already forward thinking where this robot was going to take over and start thinking on its own and learning on its own how to behave and what to do. So I always thought that concept was amazing.
Then we see it even more with Mechagodzilla in the next film because we see that same thing from the space chimp aliens when all they had to do was say Mechagodzilla beat them to death and Mechagodzilla be like, would just proceed to do as he was told.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it's crazy how that particular kaiju has, never really had until we saw him in that singular point version of himself. And I'm just like, okay, boy, y'all just killed my dream right there. I mean, what is this skinny olive oil looking motherfucker right here? What you doing?
with an easy bake oven for a torso.
The fuck was this shit, man? I mean, and the funny thing is, I enjoyed it the first time when I first watched it. Then when I watched it the second time, it's like, what the hell was I smoking when I saw it the second time? It's just I don't get it. But when I saw the film, the shorts that they did recently, I was like, thank you. You reinvented my hope and dream, knowing that y'all are not trying to decimate my childhood here. So it's good to know that this particular kaiju still stands the test of time, and I'm so grateful for that. So that's how it goes, man. But here we are. It's we've reached, and I did not expect this to go on close to 3 hours. Well, it's coming up 3 hours, and I'm amazed that it went 3 hours because I thought it was going to be like maybe 90 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be.
That's why we didn't do 15 or 20.
Which is why I'm glad I didn't do that, because I was saying, if we do that, I guarantee it was going to be another 3 hours.
Yeah.
The professor would be asleep and leaving his camera.
Right?
It's midnight right now.
Yeah, it's bedtime time.
But guys, thank you again. But before we leave, I just want to ask, what do y'all have coming up on your channels? Oven, what's coming up on yours by chance?
Tonight is Silver Screen Savants.
Which I will be attending. Yes.
It'll be Jedi, Anubis, and anybody else that joins us for it. I think that's all.
Okay. Big Bad Wolf, you got anything special that's coming up on your channel or whatever?
Not really anything special, just I'll be editing another gameplay sesh from my friends I playing the seamless co-op mod to the first Dark Souls. So that'll be posted and I'll be ready to watch on every Tuesday at 4.
Okay. Anubis, I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to be at. You're going to be with us doing the Savants, Tango and Cash, and anything else besides that?
Not necessarily. Obviously, next week we head to Maryland Death Fest, but I did notice that Samurai did a reaction to the season 2 of Peacemaker, so I will be doing a trailer reaction for that in the next day or so.
Okay, cool. I don't know if Sci-Fi, you there or you're off?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah,
okay.
I'm right here.
You
Yes,
got anything special coming up on your channel, sir?
No, man. I'm just I'm gonna still take a break. Whatever you guys do coming up, what you guys have coming up, I'll jump on it. I know there's still a few things that'll probably be there. But yeah, I'm just rolling with it right now. In case you guys do something, and you guys want to have me on, I'll be there, and
we're gonna.
But yeah, that's it, man.
Because I'm definitely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All I got now, I'm just chilling, man. Trying to get through all the stuff. Bless you. Getting through all the stuff I got going on. Just trying to focus on my health and focus on, trying to get myself as in shape as I possibly can for the trip to San Diego in July. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Just focusing on myself. And like I said, if any of you guys have anything, any types of live streams or anything like that, I'll jump on if I know it, if I know them, if I'm familiar with them. But that's it. Not much else.
Okay. Professor, sir, what do you got coming up on your channel as far as you know?
So far as I know, I do have a few things in the works.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. I have some things in the works, like short stories and some illustrations, but I've had to put a lot of that on hold to focus on real life situations. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's that. Like I say, life will still be life, and you can't change that. But as for me, as we already mentioned, I'm going to be on Owen's channel. We're going to be discussing Owen. Well, put that on number whatever it is. I thought I had it go, but I know that wasn't going to happen. I'm going to be on his channel. We're going to be talking about Tango and Cash. But on my channel, come next week, I'm going to be doing Saturday my top 10 favorite explosions that I love. And that coming Memorial Day, I'm going to be discussing one of my favorite visual effects studios, which is Industrial Light and Magic, because it turns 50 this year, believe it or not. And just to throw it out there for next month, me and DJ are going to be doing something with on discussion of what is this? Wait a minute. Oh man. Okay, that's
John, you were going to get it tonight.
No. Anyway, no,
Dunkin' roaster tonight.
me and the news. I brought this up to the news as thought process, and we're going to do a discussion on female werewolves in the media, and
Ned,
kind of going to break it down a little bit.
He's in the backstage.
Yeah,
Keep him there.
who's in the
Take
backstage?
him to Detroit.
Are you sick? Wait a minute, come on
Keep him
now.
in purgatory.
Oh my God!
Yo, Sentry, let him have it. Let him have it. Put his ass in the corner.
Harper is
Sir,
with us.
you, Gojira, man, it's so lucky, bro, that you are one of my brothers, bro. But I am a little disappointed in you.
Oh my
Why?
God!
Rodan is not on your
You don't know
list.
why? You don't know
Rodan
why?
is not on your.
Come on, what's the problem?
They looked at your list, brother, and
Rodan was not in your top 10.
You don't have to mention Rodan. Rodan is endorsed. You don't have to mention Rodan. You don't have to mention Anguirus. You don't have to mention Mothra. He's endorsed. He has his own movie. He's one of the top 3 at Toho. You don't have to mention Rodan.
Oh, so he's
I was trying to think outside the box. I knew all of you were going to mention Rodan. I knew all of you were going to mention Mothra and Anguirus. And I was trying to think outside the box and mention monsters that weren't going to be mentioned. I was trying to show some love to others.
Camera was mentioned.
No, it's
What's
okay,
up?
man. I'm just joking with you, man.
I know you
We're
are.
just joking.
I know.
We just had to
I
give
know.
you a hard time, mainly
I know.
Sentry.
Yeah, but he still put Gamma in there.
Yeah, but because Alvin had quite the stream the other day ago, and all I had was Gamera on the brain. We had quite the fun time talking about Gamera the other day ago.
We put his ass in the corner too.
Yeah, I put a lot of people in the corner that night. Yeah, a lot of people were
in the corner.
a lot of people were up to no good that night. A lot of people spent some time in the corner that night. Yeah.
Oh my God! But Gojira, thank you for coming at the last minute and making this stream, brother. Just
Thank you, David Harbour, for being here.
Yes. Excellent.
Here I thought I was going to annoy all of you guys, but now it looks like I'm the one on the other end of the table now.
They were roasting me earlier, so now
Hey, it's because you're at the bottom.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, we're a nice little Brady Bunch looking group right here, aren't we? All we need is 2 more people. We can start playing the song Brady Bunch, okay?
Yeah. Well,
How about the Sci-Fi Society bunch?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are the Sci-Fi Collective, so that's
Sci-Fi Bunch. The Sci-Fi Bunch. It's
To Detroit.
Thank you guys for bringing here. You're my brothers. You're my family. Thank you for making this. I'm gonna say it. This has been a blast. Y'all made it more than I ever imagined.
We made Walk to Left way too many times.
Yes, you did. But I thank y'all for bringing here, and I thank everyone who attended and watched this. Because like I said, I'm still going up. I'm still on the okay. Don't hurt yourself, then, Big Bad. All right, because you're still learning what you're doing. Anyway, we're gonna close it out, and like I say, y'all take care. As I always say, y'all take care. Y'all be patient, and as I always say, keep the Kaiju love alive, and we're gonna do it again another time. All right,
keep it real, keep it fresh.
All right,
50th anniversary.